All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, Edureka. Welcome to your journey with Amazon Web Service and cloud computing. I'm your trainer Tarun and I hope you all are doing great. So for now, you all might be on mute and I would like to keep that way. I'll come to that point in a while. But yeah, if you want to pass any message to me, there is a question box. You can always pass the message and I will try to answer over there. So welcome everyone for your day one, and I call it the 8 days journey of the cloud, and this is the day one or module one for the cloud computing. Now I'm sure quite a few might have gone through the Edureka, how it works and all that part, but I just thought to introduce again with some of the concepts. So you all know how you log in with the curriculum. You can go there. We also have our learning management system through which you can get all the information. All the sessions which I am taking here would be recorded and uploaded to our learning management system in a day. So you need to give us 24 hours, but by then it would be uploaded there. All the PDFs or presentations I am going to make, they will also be uploaded on our learning management system and you can access from that. Also, whatever the material I am going to give or share with you, that would be also available in the LMS only. Now, how does this works normally? It's a live online class, what I'm taking for you. You will get all the class recordings in the learning management systems. You would also have the 24/7 post-class support. So if you anytime, even I won't say it's a post-class, means it's not a course, but if you have any questions, you can always drop a mail to our support team and they would be able to help you. Also, we would be giving you some of the project work at the end of the course, which you will be, and once you complete the project work, you would also get a certificate from Edureka for completing this. Now, this course I have designed considering Amazon architecture exam in mind. So Amazon's solution architect exam, I designed as per that, and that's why I split into 8 parts. Now Amazon is a huge thing, and when we go further and further, you would come to know what do I mean by the huge word. Rather, I would use the huge multiple times on that. But I tried to focus in a way that some of the services are very important when you kickstart your journey with Amazon. So I would go deep down about those services to ensure that you understand that very thoroughly. And then we would have some of the sessions where I would be just giving you overview of the multiple services of Amazon. I call it a USP of this class because when you go out and you need to know that, okay, I want to design something with Amazon, which right service should I use? And you would at least know from that there are so many services which I can use over there. One more session is where I would be taking the architect and design part, where I would be showing you how do you architect with Amazon, how do you design the parts, how do you scale up the things and everything over that part. So this is just in an overview, or I wanted to begin with this. Now before I introduce myself, I kept on talking a lot about the Edureka, but this is where we are connected. So this is all about Edureka. Now before I go and start about myself, I would also like to hear from you all. Where are you from? So what I need to know from is, where are you all from? Where means the geography, if you can say the country or the city, where are you? And something about yourself, about your experience, how many years of experience you have and in which technology you have. That would just help me to understand all the audience who are participating today. So I would request, by the time I start introducing myself, I would also like to hear from you also. If you can put down in the question box about yourself, that would be a great thing for me. And generally, I introduce myself with the numbers. Uh, hey all, so you all can just write down in the question box again your name. I know your name because that would always come to me. You can just write down your city or the whatever, where are you from, and your experience something. So Vikas is where the all things happening today. He's from the Melbourne. Hey Vikas, welcome. Good to know you are not going for the match and you are here today. So The World Cup has started, so I'm sure that's tomorrow is the one of the cracking match, and I hope I would get the most of the participation tomorrow. Padmanabhan is from USA with great experience in JEE. Lalit is from LA. Vikat is also working in JEE, great. Satish is with 10 years and experience. Suresh is also having 8 years in the banking from USA, Chicago. Satish is also from India Police, USA. Muthu is from again Sydney. So great, Muthu. So tomorrow the match would be there. Sydney, Australia. No, I think tomorrow is not in Sydney. And Nachiket from Pune. Arun is from Canada. Kirti from CA. So I see quite a few are from the CA. With most of you, I would say about 10 years, except a couple of guys. Lalit is with 2-3 years of experience. Lalita is with 6 years, but quite a few are with the more than 10 years of experience. So welcome all. Welcome to your journey with Amazon Web Services, and I'm your trainer. And before I introduce myself, I just like to show my numbers. I think that would be just helpful whether I'm qualified to take this session or not. So I'm having around 14 years of IT experience. Out of that, I would say 4+ years in Amazon only. So I'm working on Amazon Web Service since last 4 years plus, and I'm doing a various roles where I've done the consulting, the architect, design, deployment on Amazon. I'm also Amazon AWS certified. And when it comes to the teaching, I've taken more than 20+ Amazon workshops, classroom trainings, and all that. And to add to my CV, I would say more than 700+ IT associates, developers, or architects I have trained over the period of time. Also, I would not have the perfect number, but I believe it's more than 30+ Amazon solution certificate also I help to clear. I would just say help because I can only facilitate the part. It's the last onus would be on you. But more than that, the people, unfortunately, people do not share their success stories after they clear the exam. So I would wish same thing from here also, that at least you share your success stories if you clear the certification exam. So this is about my numbers, what I am and what is my experience and all that. And if you want to reach me, you can reach me with name Tarun Dave, and this is my address. You can reach me with tarun@edureka.in or edureka.co. I'm literally passionate about Amazon Web Service, and I keep on doing various things with Amazon. I stay myself involved with Amazon in one or another way. I would also say I'm a content writer, blogger. I keep on writing the things with the different names, though I don't use the same name for all the times. I use the pseudonyms also for some of the certificate articles. I keep the white papers, blogs, a lot of the guides and all that I keep on writing. I've also cleared the Amazon certification exam. You can reach me on LinkedIn at this URL, and I think you already introduced yourself about that. Now, one thing I would like to know all from you. I am in India, so if you want, I am in India. Don't ask me which part. I would be somewhere. That's India. I am here. Now, I would like to one part from you, or rather, I would like to know one thing from you is what is your expectation from this course? Why did you join the course? Can you just give me a little brief? But that would be great. And I'll tell you why did I keep everyone on mute and I don't allow them to write here. Or rather I ask them to write everyone right here. The only reason is, see what happens is that if I unmute you all, it would happen a chaos, and believe me, that has happened to me in the past. People requested me to unmute them. I could unmute, but then remember there are 15-20 guys who would be here and who would be doing that, try to speak out that, and then there would be lots of background noise and everything going on, which was not right the great thing. So I wanted to know from you now, why did you join? So Joyce is a very interesting thing, and Joyce, I'm not sure exactly I would exactly fit into that requirement. So are you sure you joined the course for learning the Kinesis, Joyce? Because this course is for the Amazon Web Services. So yeah, if you can develop your applications and then put into the over there, that's a different. But for others, if I go, yeah, by the way, don't raise your hands. You can just keep writing over here. I would be. So Kirti wants to develop the projects in Amazon. Great. So Padmanabhan is also looking for Amazon certification. Very good. Vikas is also looking for Amazon technology and how can he move current projects to the cloud. Ricardo is for the Amazon with the big data. Great. So Suresh is for the Amazon certification. So Santosh is for the cloud understanding. Shashwata is for the AWS understanding. Kapil wanted to learn the cloud. So Nachiket wants to switch the career. Okay, great. Somebody with the Amazon with the big data. Great. So I see a huge numbers and I think I would be able to meet most of the requirement except I'm not sure for the Joyce yours. Frankly, the reason is we are not focusing on Kinesis at all for this. This is more about the Amazon curriculum. So we would definitely, yeah, if you have anything on Amazon cloud, I would be definitely able to help with that. And I'm sure everybody would have a huge number of questions about the job opportunity, job switchover, certifications, and how do I do that. And trust me, I would have most of the answers for this, and I would try to cover that as and soon we progress over there. Some of the things I would park till the last session, where we would be talking a lot about that. So what we would be going through is that today we would be talking more about the Amazon. Now the first is what is cloud computing and Amazon. And then from tomorrow onwards, it would be Amazon specific curriculums, Amazon services. Day 7, I say, is one of the best sessions, I believe, is based on all the feedback I've received till now, is where we talk about the real architecture, design, and I believe 60-70% of more are with the 8 to 10 years plus experience, and you would enjoy that session about the architect and design part. We do talk about the cost, security, and all that aspect also. At the same time, the session 8, which I park normally, is about where how would you be going for the certification part. So I talk around 30-40 minutes only on certification. How do you prepare for the certifications? Then you might have a question on the job and all that. Again, I may not be the best career advisor, but I can at least guide you how do you proceed on that. So that definitely I can help you on that part something, but I would like to park some of the questions till the last sessions where you are at least familiar with some of the Amazon concepts and how to use them, and then we can take it forward. Now some of the ground rules for my curriculum, I would keep all of you in the break, but mute. But at the same time, I don't want that to be a limitation. I want that to be a positive for me. So make this session more and more interactive. Anytime if you think you have some questions, you doubt, just ping it here. No question is a naive question. I would like to answer that. And for all those guys, again, I am ready to stay as long as you are awake, because I believe quite a few are from the US time zone and they would like to sleep, or some of you might want to run off to see the matches. I do believe that, and so for that part, I'd like to apologize, because only thing would be I'm also a cricket fan, and you would see from when we go progress, you would see a lot of cricket references in my sessions. But at the same time, I would say first I am an Amazon passionate more than cricket, so I would go more deep into the Amazon, then I would go into the cricket part. So I would also like to hold you for some time, and sometimes that's why my sessions would extend a little more than 3 hours. I would request to bear with me in case you have something very late and you want to run off, you want to, I know you people can't stay more than that, and I would, it's okay. So what you can do is you will always get a recorded session after an hour, but at least do follow that. So don't keep on park for that for a time that I've missed that session, I would not see. I would request, because some of the sessions would help you to progress further. So but at the same time, from my side, I gave it commitment. As long as I am able to answer your questions, or I'm possible, I would stay there and answer most of the questions. Also in the session, whenever you ask, logically I'll take the break and keep on answering the questions also. If I feel it's getting too late, I would park those questions till the end, and I can take all those questions till the end also. So that's from my side, and how we want to go on that. So I know, and that's the question I was expecting. So how would we manage the tomorrow's match with the session? And I'll say, let's watch in the cloud. You watch the match in the cloud. How? Yeah, actually the course started just today, so you need to learn the Amazon, and then you need to see how to watch in the cloud. But yeah, for us it's a cloud. Or best, someone can keep on pushing the scores, and I would keep announcing the scores for everyone. What's the score? But I would request you don't run away for the match, or at least keep the scorecard open somewhere and then follow me. Don't follow the scorecard. So guys, are you all ready? Are you all ready to move to the cloud? Ready to fly off? Everybody is tight on your seatbelt? We are flying now. Perfect. So everybody tighten your seatbelt. We are now flying to cloud. Now, just like when air hostess announces, I am not the air hostess, but at least we don't have any air hostess here. So as a pilot, I announce. So when you are tightening your seatbelts, can you please let us know what is cloud? Does anyone know what is cloud? Have you worked on the cloud before? Any cloud you have worked? So everybody who just joined, don't worry, we are just going to start something. What initial part was my introduction about me and the curriculum. So you can always go through that video. You would get that. Anybody has used a cloud? So Vikas has used the Salesforce. Good. So few guys says they have not used the cloud. Okay. So people say they have not used the cloud. Most of them. Varun has used Amazon, but I'm not sure everybody has used the cloud before. Right? Can I say that most of you have not used the cloud before? Correct? And I'll tell everyone, you all are lying to me. Never do this. You all have used the cloud. And I'll prove you everyone wrong. Just give me some time and I'll come back to say, how have you used the cloud? So what is cloud computing? And before that, I always like some buzzwords and the importance, and I start with this guy. He's my favorite. So a few of my favorites, I would say Sachin Tendulkar, Steve Jobs. I don't need a hard disk in my computer if I can go to the server faster. Carrying around these non-connected computers is Byzantine by comparison. And do you know, he made this statement in 1997. Now, cloud is becoming a buzzword since 2006-7 and around that time, or 2004-5, something around that time. And or rather, it has started getting momentum and started becoming a buzzword from 2010 onwards over there. But this guy, a visionary, innovator, inventor, entrepreneur, whatever you say, has made this statement in 1997 because he know that the cloud word would come and it would be there. But I would be more interested with the statement of Scott McClellan. He says, we believe we are moving out of the ice age, the iron age, the industrial age, the information age to the participation age. You're not just participating on net, not just viewing stuff. We build the infrastructure that goes in the data center, facilitates, and the participation age. Now, what does it mean? See, Ice Age, I would say somewhere around 60s, 70s, those huge mainframe servers, or something little early before that. And I'm sure you must have seen that the first photo of those, the mainframe servers, when they were required to move from one place to another, there was a huge plane required to move two servers. Correct? And today, I won't go to today. That was more like an Ice Age. The Iron Age, I would say between 70 to 90 somewhere, the computer started getting something momentum over there. the Windows revolutionized everything. So from 90s onwards, and 95, 98, and 2000 and everything, that is the industrial age and everything started over there. Yeah, it also includes the dot-com bust, but let's not talk about that as of now. So then it went to the information age. The people started getting more and more internet, more getting over there. So from 2000 to 7, 8, 6, 7 was more about the information age. And then comes our own Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Orkut. It's though it's died, but it was there. Google Plus, WhatsApp, WeChat, and many more. It's a participation age. You participate across the world. You're participating over the internet. Whatever you type, and I'm sure while I'm talking to you, some of the windows might have Facebook or Twitter or something open, and they might have already tweeted or the poked over there or written somewhere on the wall saying, I'm attending a session on Amazon, or you might have already have 30 likes on that or 20 comments on that and saying, how is that? And somebody says, oh, it's boring, it's not started, he's just passing the time. Or somebody says, looks interesting at the first hand, let's see how it goes, right? This is the participation age. People do participate. And to tell you the frank story, I'll share one of my story. One of my friend, he's in USA. In last April 2014, we're very good friends in school and college and everything. So on his birthday in April, I wished him on email saying happy birthday and all that. And I was expecting him some nice reply and all that. To my surprise, he replied me, do you still use email to wish? And I was like, aback, what is wrong in the email? Why can't I use the email? And he was like, man, people use Facebook, WhatsApp and all that. Why are you using still email? And I look like I'm still, I went back to the industrial or information age where the email looked like now it's soon it would be like Ice Age. Not sure for the corporate world, but yes, for the personal world, email might be there, the email that's now whatever. If you remember in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, whatever the forwards you used to get an email, now everything you are getting in WhatsApp. That's the power of the participation. Everybody is participating. Everybody is doing something on net all the time. Now, have you ever thought about that? That when I want to participate on that, it's so easy to participate. But how does this infrastructure work? How would it work? If somebody would provide you an internet, but then what? How would they manage everything? You might have, if you have done some web development, you would feel that, okay, even if you have to manage thousands or 10,000 users, it requires some kind of a planning. And here people talk about the millions and billions of the users. How do they manage all that participation? Cloud comes handy for this. This is the cloud world. Cloud would help you to go to there, and that's where we are going to. And so my dear friends, cloud is coming, and the cloud has already arrived, and it has already started cracking over there. Exactly. So Piyush also sharing his own story. Say when he SMS somebody, the people would say, why are you not WhatsApp me? Why do you use SMS? See, that's the power of the net and powerful. And so crowd market growth, and it's a sustainable model. The people never imagine that. And I see in some of the cases, Forrester reported that by 2020, the cloud would be 240 billion business, which is becoming wrong because I believe even by 2016 only this figure would be surpassed. So cloud is getting more and more momentum. Cloud is growing bigger and bigger every day. So this is a Gartner hype cycle, and I'm still continuing in your hype world now where cloud and everything is. So cloud world, this is the cloud hype cycle, and all the terminology there, you would find a huge number of terminology on the cloud world. And what is one of the terminology which I would be interested to know more would be is a DevOps and IaaS. IaaS I'm more interested because Amazon offers the one of the biggest service for the IaaS, which we'll talk later on. But what about the DevOps? Does anyone know DevOps? Do you know what is DevOps? So I got a few answers, but no, not anyone is right. Santosh has the right answer. And to make it, it's a development and operation together. Together, what do you mean by that? You might have encountered in your computer lifestyle or your experience that whenever you want to deploy something or you created some application, and when you want to give it for the testing team would say, no, it's not working for me. You say, it was working on me, why it's not working? Then you realize, oh, I tested on Windows and he's testing on Linux. Or there would be a cases where you say, my application is ready for testing, and you go to the operation team and say that, can you give me some environment? Say, hey man, you are too late. You should have come, at least inform me 15 days before. You should follow certain life cycle. You can't come just walk into my room and say that give me the infrastructure. No boss, that's not possible. Go back, come after 15 days, write a request, raise a ticket in the system, and then only it would work. Right? That would happen. And imagine if you just have to wait 10 days for any infrastructure, that would mean the 10 days of your development efforts is lost, something you could have improved on that. DevOps helps you to bridge that gap. There would be a development world, there would be an operation world. There is a bridge between them which helps you to, or there is a mechanism which helps you to. Now, I won't say it's some definition or something, because when you go across, you would find hundreds of definitions of DevOps. I would just say it's like a paradigm which would help you to bridge between development and operation. And it's not only for the cloud, but cloud is making it more and more possible. And with the DevOps, now the new word is coming into picture. I'm not sure. CI/CD. Does anyone know about CI/CD? Right, Varun. It's a continuous integration, continuous deployment. And that's a DevOps model is also coming very handy on that. So all those who are also looking for some kind of a job change, new interesting topics, I would request, this is the flavor of the market, CI/CD and the DevOps. Along with the Amazon, if you learn something on that, you can do something, it would be a great boost for your career. So do focus on this, Google on that. I would not cover DevOps and the CI/CD in detail. Amazon would have something on DevOps, but yeah, this is a hit for you. If you are looking something in your career to want to change, think on that aspect also. Our focus would be only AWS as of now. We are going on a Amazon world. And everybody wants to move to cloud. Why? Because when I go and meet the people, I say the cloud and all that, they say, no, or how do you do this? Hey, we are in now cloud offering. We have our cloud solutions. I have everything in cloud. And people just like to use the buzzwords. And frankly, they use these buzzwords without knowing the reality, whether that's the truth or not. And that's one of the biggest challenge. So people would just say that I'm in the cloud. I'm using the cloud. Are you sure? People don't understand. Or rather than some people would say, I don't understand cloud. What is cloud? At least I would say when you go out of this session today, you do know what is cloud computing. That is the one takeout for me or you all, and one responsibility on me to ensure that when you go out, you know what is cloud computing and you can go and challenge the people. Are you sure when you say you are cloud, this is the cloud, this is what it is following? And what is cloud computing? When you say what is cloud computing, again, I would like to use the statement from Mr. Larry Ellison. He has a nice statement. The interesting thing about cloud computing is that we have defined cloud computing to include everything that we already do. I can't think of anything that is not cloud computing. With all of these announcements, the computer industry is the only industry that is more fashion driven than women's fashion. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I have no idea what anyone is talking about. What is it? And my friends, this is the statement made by Larry Ellison. He was not believing in the cloud initial years, and he was completely against in the cloud. So you would find that Oracle is definitely a very slow catcher in the cloud computing. While the Google, Microsoft, and Amazon has caught up a big time, Amazon is still lagging on that, and that's why Oracle is still lagging in that, and that's why Oracle has come out with a completely different strategy where they offer more on a kind of a private cloud and all that concepts over there. But he started believing, and he knew that there is no world without cloud. whatever people say, I need to go to the cloud, and Oracle started a lot of offering cloud. But one thing I must appreciate, he's right in a way, because every day when you come and across the people and say, hey, we have a cloud, we have made a cloud application, we have done this in cloud, or the people say, oh, let's move to the cloud. Then when you go and ask him, say, what is cloud? Say, oh, make this application, it would be ready in the cloud. Then you can always ask him, I would rather say, counter question him. Anybody can make an application. Why do you call it a cloud? And Larry Ellison also had made a statement another which says, nowadays everybody, internet has got a new name which is called the cloud. And he is not wrong also. The reason is everybody, the mom, Dick and Harry would come and say, I'm on a cloud, without understanding the real meaning of the cloud. Or there would be people who would say, no, I don't know what is cloud. But my friends, you are using cloud day in, day out. And I'm here to break all those myths to ensure that we know what is the cloud computing. Right? So let's going on without going everything. Yeah, I'm still there. I have not started on the cloud computing yet. And that's the what cloud would be. As I was saying, every Tom, Dick, and Harry would have their own theory. It's more like a big elephant and 4-5, the blind man. The person who is touching is the ear would say it's like a fan, touching it's a leg something like it's a tree, somebody touching its trunk would say it like a snake, tail would say rope. Everybody would have their own understanding. They would not know what is real cloud computing. So I guess I have generated enough hype, enough curiosity, and now I'm sure that everybody would look for the beverages in the flight, saying that, okay, the flight has already taken off. You have bored us a lot, so let's take us to the beverages, which is the more interesting part. So this is the definition of a cloud computing. According to Forrester, cloud computing is a form of standardized IT-based capability such as internet-based services, softwares, or IT infrastructure offered by a service provider that is accessible via internet protocols from any computer, is always available, scales automatically to adjust to demand, as a pay-per-user advertising base, has web or programmatic based access. Now are you all clear with this definition? Okay, a few yes. And for all those who says yes, I thank them, because frankly even I am not clear with this definition. Right? It's not so easy and understandable. What is cloud computing? Just by definition, are you sure? I am not clear, frankly. And if you're clear, great. So I present you the better definition. NIST is National Institute of Standard and Technology, which says cloud computing is a model for enabling convenient on-demand network access to shared pool of configurable computing resources that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. This cloud model promotes availability and is composed of 5 essential characteristics and 3 service models and 4 deployment models. Now, does it make more sense? No. Why? Are you all clear? Then great, my objective is achieved. I don't want to go ahead. Let me come to this point. This is the definition by National Institute of Standard and Technology, and this is which accepted everywhere. So we would follow this definition only. But frankly, this is also this is really complex definition. Now I'm sure everybody would have questions on this, saying that what are those deployment models, what are the service models you're talking, what are the essential categories you're talking about, and it's not a layman's language, right? So I go back to the Forester and I try to make something over there. And then I try to give a definition by some wise man. NIST stands for National Institute of Standard and Technology. A definition by a wise man, though he may not be quoted a lot because he is named as Tarun Dave. So if I define cloud computing, I would define as a way any business service. Now what do I mean by a business service? Listen to me carefully. Business service means it can be email, it can be database, it can be a web application, something like a e-commerce, it can be infrastructure service where you can host the data, it can be some platform like Google or something where you can deploy or manage your applications. It could be anything, but we call it a business service, something which is aligned to your business or offering some services offered, business services offered. Any business service which is offered to you or which is available over internet protocols. Why I use the word internet protocols? Because it can be to your internal IP organization only, or it can be over internet, or just for a better understanding we can say which is available over internet, which is available on demand. Now what do I mean by the on demand? Whenever you need, it should be available. I would go a little more depth. And it should be scalable. Scalable means whenever you need, it should be able to scale up, or elastic by nature, I would say, which uses the resources optimally. Now using the resources optimally means whatever the resources you have, like you would have an infrastructure or email, but internally it would be using the resources optimally. It would not dedicate everything to everyone. Rather, it's using the resources optimally and offered service on a pay-as-you-go model. Pay-as-you-go model means whatever service you are using, you charges for only that part. If you are using for 3 hours, it charges you for 3 hours. If you are using 20 hours, it charges for 20 hours. Or you are using for 10 users, it charges for 10 users. If you are using for 30 users, it charges for 30 users. Any business service which is available over internet on demand, so whenever you require, it should not go and say, oh, wait for 10 days, I'm still waiting, I'll get you. It should be available on demand. It should be scalable in nature, so whenever you want to scale up, scale down, it should be able to uses its resource optimally and follows the pay-as-you-go model, is called cloud computing. And this is by me, so you would not read this definition anywhere. But I wanted to know from you, now this is the time. Do you understand this? What do I mean? I try to map it with the Forester. A standardized IT-based capability, such as internet-based service or software infrastructure. I replace all these words which say any business service. Email, database, collaboration, web, e-commerce, web services, infrastructure, any business service offered by a service provider that is accessible via internet protocol, so available over internet, which is always available, so on demand, scales automatically, so it can be scale up, follows the pay-as-you-go model, and the resources they have not mentioned, but it says that control interface enable full customer self-service. This is called the cloud computing. Does it make sense? Now, I'm sure everybody would have a questions. So is this considered a cloud? Is this considered a cloud or not? Now, I came out with the 5 things available over internet, on demand, elastic, optimal resource usage, and pay per usage. What were those 5 words? Those are the called 5 essential characteristics by the NIST. So what I'll do is, I'll not answer anything for a few minutes. Rather, I would go to the next slide, explain something more on this, each and every characteristic. And then we go and say, what is real cloud? Right? So coming to the 5 attributes defined by the NIST. First one is broad network access. Now what do I mean by the broad network access? Something which is available over internet or intranet. Something available over internet or intranet. So intranet would be a typical case. I'll park it for a while, but generally you would say it's over the internet, so anybody can access over the internet. Like you want to use the Amazon, you use the over the internet, you use the Salesforce, you use over there. All this broad network access. It should not be a client server saying that okay, you can access from my machine only, all that. And I'm sure everybody say, oh, all web applications are like that, right? So does mean all web applications are cloud? Hold on. Let's go to the next part. It should provide you the rapid elasticity and on-demand self-service. So first I'll come to the on-demand self-service. When you go to the market and when you want to buy something, infrastructure, what do you normally do? When you go and you try to buy infrastructure, generally you place an order. First I would say rather you would search on the online and everywhere saying which is the cheapest one available for me. And then you would find that, oh, it's available on Amazon, Flipkart, or sometimes you'd say it's available on Chroma or Vijay Sales or somewhere else, right? Or your local mom and pop shop. Somewhere this is available in a cheaper rate. So good, then I can buy from there. Now, when you go and say, try to procure, if you procure from online, it would take 5-7 days, something like that. If you are procuring from your mom and pop shop, it would take a day or something like that. Or sometimes if you are in the corporate world, you need to release a PO, it would go to the PO, it would get the data and come back and you would have this part. Now all on this case, it would take from 1 day to the 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. How about, or I would say, what if someone gives you, when you say, I need a server of 60 GB RAM, I need a server of 128 GB RAM, I need a server of 240 GB RAM. Somebody gives you in 5 minutes. Wouldn't that be an exciting thing? Oh wow, that's an on demand. When I demand, it's available to me. I don't need to keep on waiting for that. Now, when you have the on demand helps you to facilitate the elasticity part. Now, why do I say elasticity part? So, that's for the cricket season. I'm sure everybody looking to in the second window, the Cricinfo score. So coming to the Cricinfo world, there is a special story about the Cricinfo. I'm not sure everybody is aware about that. And we would talk in detail on day 4 when we talk about the real scaling and all that activities world. But Cricinfo site was broken once. You all know Flipkart breakdown recently. Same thing happened to the Cricinfo site. And that was when our own little champion hit the first ODI double 100. When he hit that, the Cricinfo had to come out publicly and acknowledge that he broke many records, but he also broke our website. The reason was, generally Cricinfo expects a load of around daily visitors of 4 million, 5 million. On that day, when Sachin was playing against South Africa, and he was about to reach his ODI double 100, first ever double 100, their visitors count increased to almost 45 million. And that's a whopping 10 times almost growth than what they expect daily. And nobody was prepared to handle 10 times growth. And they had broke down the Cricinfo website. Now what could have Cricinfo done in this case? Cricinfo started somewhere in 2001 and all that, little before that. Now they would have a option, rather they might know that someday some World Cup would happen and then there would be a huge load, or there would be a case where Sachin and somebody, they won't say Sachin, would do something miracle thing and then it would break, there would be a 30-40 million visitors, so I should plan accordingly, and they might have a procured infrastructure accordingly. Or they could have gone to the cloud, where they would say, since cloud provides me on demand, so whenever my load is increasing, I can spin up more and more servers, which would help me to achieve the elasticity or the scalability. So today my server infrastructure is able to sustain 3 million users. If in case there are 6 million users, I could spin up the 100 more servers within 10 minutes because I am on cloud. If it goes to the 30 millions, I could spin up 1,000 more instances because I am on cloud, right? So cloud helps you to achieve rapid elasticity. Now what would be the difference in both the approaches? If they might have procured the similar kind of infrastructure in day one, by 2001, it may have happened that by the time the 2010 comes and Sachin hits, their hardware is completely obsolete. They might have to reinvest, because it's even the CORDS rule follow or whatever. Every 2 to 3 years, you need to change your infrastructure. Now in that case, they might have changed 2 to 3 times, which might have costed them and which might have been completely underutilized. Now, what could be the other scenario over there? And sometimes even they might have procured, say, 30 million users. We are having 3, but let's plan for 30. It may still not be able to meet the 45 million users, because when they need more infrastructure, they need to go and buy. They can't buy the infrastructure immediately by the time the match gets over. So that's always a challenge. On demand would always help you to achieve the elasticity part. Now elasticity and scalability are used very frequently and by interchangeably also. The people would say this is elasticity, this is the scalability, but it's a different words. And I would not explain the definition of elasticity and scalability today. Reason, we have a very good session on day 4 where we talk about the scalable parts, and I'll explain that what is the difference between elasticity and the scalability. Talking about this attribute, this would help you to achieve the real scalability or elasticity aspect of this. Now, what is the use if I am going to providing you on demand elasticity, but if I charge you from the day one saying that, okay, you signed up with me day one, though you are not using, I had the infrastructure, right? Why didn't you use it? That's your problem. So then it's not the right cloud. Cloud would be measured size. It would measure that, okay, Cricinfo use 1,000 extra servers just for one day. So I would charge him extra for those 1,000 servers only for one day. So it should be measured service and pay as you go. It should measure, it should charge you only for the amount you're using. So if you use it for the 3 hours, you use it for the 6 hours, you use it for 100 users, whatever the way you are using, it should charge you based on that. I would say in a technique or the business words, it should be more like a OPEX, operational expense, than the CAPEX, capital expense. This is the definition for the 4 attributes. Broad network access, available over internet. On demand, when you need, it's available to you. Rapid elasticity, whenever you want, it can grow up, scale down. It should be a measured service, so whatever you are using, it should be, you should be charged based on that. And resource pooling. Now, another example. Let's say the 3 largest banks, or the private sector largest banks, ICICI, Axis and HDFC, excuse me, three largest banks of the world come together and they want to make their own web applications. So they approach the I think Infosys, Finacle belongs to Infosys, I believe, yes. So they approach Infosys saying that we want to use the Finacle in the web version, so you give us that. And Infosys happily agreed, oh yes, I got 3 new customers, great to have it. But each when they meet them to Infosys, they say, see, we have some certain requirements, you need to understand. First thing is, Axis says, whenever someone comes to my site, I am a strict security guy. So first thing they should see is a security warning. Don't share your passwords if you come from this axis.com or you see the URL, something like that. They would get only security warning on the first page. Then when they click on something, they should see my logo. They should see my theme, the brown and all that part. And then we say click something, it would take them to the home page. Okay. ICICI says, see, I want to promote things. So whenever somebody comes to my site, it would show him all the offers like the credit cards, loan, bankings, all the offers it should show in the first page. On the top right hand side, it should show that, okay, this is the login page and he can come to that. HDFC says, I want to be like Google, very simple. Why don't you make a simple page? I believe the 80% people are coming only for the online banking. Let them come here. If they want to go to the other part, advertising, I'll give a link there. Make it a very simple page for me. Finacle says, I'm okay. Now, in that case, the Finacle might be hosted in the Infosys data center. The data center might have 1,000, 10,000 kind of a servers. But how would Infosys ideally, or how should Infosys ideally manage it? Again, I don't know whether they are the customers. This is just a fictional story for you. So now Infosys could have done a better way would be, they have the Finacle ready. What they would be providing is, they would be providing a certain kind of a customization that whenever the user types axisbank.com, it would be redirected to the internally to the Finacle services with certain number of information saying this is the Axis, this is the ICICI. Whenever Finacle receives this kind of an information, it would get the data. So the database would be common, but only pages it would try to render which are specific to Axis only, or it would try to generate the pages or with the look and feel of the Axis. It's just a customization. You just do the certain programming which would show the look and feel and the requirement as per the Axis or ICA and something. Advantage for the Finacle would be, it's a single hosted place where it has hosted everything. It is offering to all the customers, and if it wants to expand to instead of the 3, it wants to expand to the more private sector banks, the Bank of Paris or any other banks, Oriental banks and anything. It can do that very easily, right? Yes Bank, whatever you want to name that. Also, it has the single easily maintained. Now, what is this phenomena called? For this case, do you know the concept of a multi-tenancy? Does anyone know? Just one request to everyone, do not raise your hand. Instead, just type in the question box. Does anyone know about the multi-tenancy? Multi-tenancy. No, multi-tenancy does not mean raising requests per resource. In this case, multi-tenancy is more like a group of the users. So in this case, what would happen? Finacle is a server, or Finacle is an application which is having 3 tenants: Axis, ICICI and HDFC, and each would have their own end users, right? I am a user of the ICICI, so I would fall here. You might be user of the Axis, you may fall here. Someone would be a user of this HDFC, they would fall here. Tenant is nothing but a group of the users who would have a similar kind of a characteristics. So here Axis would have a same kind of a logo, same kind of a theme, same kind of a that. It may keep changing from tenant to tenant. So Axis would different from the ICICI because ICICI would have its own kind of a logo. Even ICICI would have its own kind of rules also saying that, okay, my banking loan rates are 8%. Someone says my banking loan rates are the 15%. It would. So the business rules also would change over there. So this is the concept of a multi-tenant. In the multi-tenant, you would have a tenant specific logic which would help, and each tenant would have a set of users. So tenant is nothing but a collection of the users, and each tenant can have a separate kind of a business logic, GUI, everything over there. Now why did I throw the multi-tenancy in this pool? The concept of resource pooling is you optimize your resources, you optimize the usage of resources such a way that it would be optimally provided to each and every tenant. For example, you are having a server which is a 100 GB RAM and 1000 or around 1000 GB hard disk. Now, if you have hosted just one web application, it's a killing. You are completely wasting your resources because here you are having this much capacity, still you are not using it. You can do virtualization, you can do so many things. Now you do in a way that you created some kind of a tenant based structure where each tenant or each user, you can use it, would have a 10 GB RAM and 100 GB hard disk. And there would be 10 people or 10 tenants or 10 users using this application or this server. Now here you are using your resources optimally. You are sharing among them optimally so everybody can use that. And the resource optimization can be achieved very well with the concept of the multi-tenancy. Multi-tenancy is one of the key tenets when you want to design a cloud application, because it would help you to achieve the resource pooling. So resource pooling is nothing but the optimally using your resources. Multi-tenancy in where each tenant would represent the group of the users, and when you combine both of these, multi-tenancy would help you to achieve the resource pooling. So coming back to the 5 key resources, now I represent the definition of the cloud computing. Any business service, you take the email, you take the anything over there, collaboration, you take the database, you take the web applications available over internet. Yes, whenever I need, is it available immediately? So I'll try to log in, I try to register, is it immediately? Does it provide me the rapid elasticity? So whenever, if my data is growing, is it able to accommodate that? Is it a measured service or pay as you go? Measured means it's able to measure the data and whatever I'm using. And is it providing me some kind of a resource pooling with the multi-tenancy or not? That is called cloud computing. Does it make sense for everyone now? So this is the gist of the session and one of the key part, and that's why I'm spending a huge amount of time on this slide. The reason is I want it to be very clear to everyone that when you go out you should know this. So when somebody asks, are you a cloud? You can question them. And now, as in the beginning I said, you all are lying to me. You all are using cloud day in, day out, and you didn't believe me. So let me give you a few examples. How many of you are using Gmail? How many of you are using Hotmail or Outlook? How many of you are using Salesforce or the WebEx or the GoToMeeting? You are right now. Even FB, how many of you are using Facebook? Facebook is a debatable, but I will come that later. These all are the popular example. Office 365, Google Docs, Dropbox, Drop.com. These all are the popular example of the cloud computing. Now how? Let's go with the Gmail. So this would now, I would say, the final definition which would help you to make everything clear. Now Gmail, when you go, You all know you are using the free Gmail, but Gmail is a very good offering for the uh, organizations also, small, medium, large organizations. You can always go to the Gmail saying that I don't want to set up my own infrastructure. I don't want to do that, because then setting up infrastructure, I do everything. I don't want to go into that. Instead, you give me your infrastructure. I will use email infrastructure. Gmail says I would be more than happy. But wait, I don't want to use your email ID. I don't want to say tarun@gmail.com. I want to say tarun@edureka.co. I want to use gaurav@edureka.co. I want to use rajiv@iitbombay.com. Something like that. I want to use my email ID. Gmail says that's fine. If you have the domain name, give me those details. Rather, you don't need to give me the details. I would provide you a self-service console where you just can go there. You go to there, you configure your domains and everything. Yeah, there would be some verification whether it's owned by you or not. It would be definitely there. Once it is there, you can create as many users you want to create. So on-demand self-service. Today you want to create an email ID of Tarun, Gaurav, Nishit, Mahesh, whoever you want to create, you can create that. And I am a scalable. Today you get 1000 mails, next day you get 100,000 mails. I would give you 50 GB, 100 GB, whatever you want, I can give you. I'm available over internet. Anybody can access from the internet easily. I would charge you per user basis. So if you take as many users you create, you pay me for that. So one user $5 per month. That is my charge. So you create 50 users, you pay me $250 per month. If some of your user leaves the organization, you remove those 20 users. Now I would charge you 30 users per month. Pay as you go. How many users you're using, you create for them. And I use the resource pooling. Optimal. I have a huge number of tenants. You can say Edureka itself. You can say the XYZ company. You can say IITs. You can say this or learning institute. Frankly, I myself is having a 5 Gmail accounts provided by the different organization I work for. Because everybody would like to use the Gmail. That's the easiest way for them. So Gmail gives you a real cloud computing. Now I'm sure everybody would have a question. Is that web application, is it a cloud computing? Can I consider this as a cloud computing? Now anybody who says I am on a cloud, you can always ask him, okay, are you available over internet? Yes. Do you provide the rapid elasticity? He would say, or a scalable? Yeah, I can scale to 10 users, 15 users, not more than that. So boss, you need to think on that. Are you available on demand? So when I need your service, would it be able to get it? Can I do self-signing? Can I do this tenant part and all that? Are you doing the measured service pay-as-you-go model or not? This is the crux of the cloud computing. What is cloud computing? And how do you define cloud computing? Now I ask you everyone again, are you all clear, thorough with the cloud computing? Any doubt? So everybody, thanks Vikas. Everybody clear? So now when you go out, this is what I want to take out this. So Ravi Shankar says he is not clear. So yes, Ravi, what is the missing? Okay, sorry. You said no, so I was little. Good point. So why the word computing? See, the computing word has started. It's more about that measuring that you provide some kind of a computing resources. Your CPU and all that, you provide them some kind of a computing resources. That's why the word cloud. I was actually thinking the people would say why the word cloud, then the word computing. Grid computing and everything. Why is it called cloud? And it is a very curious story. See, cloud is a buzzword now, but it's been here since almost, I would say, 70s, 80s. It was more popularly used for the telecom networks where they want to communicate with each other. This was the case, and from that the word cloud has arrived over here. Also, to give you the real life example, your electricity, it's a kind of a cloud thing, right? You use, you pay for that. Now I know some of them would say it's not available on demand, because I know the Chennai and the Delhi and everybody is having some kind of a power trouble. But considering that the states like I believe the Gujarat or some of the states which are having 24/7 electricity, they would believe in this, that's okay, there is no outage. I know my friend in Gujarat, he says that we have never seen the outage in the electricity, right? So in that case, for them the power is available on demand, they pay as you go model, right? So that's what the kind of a, or you can say simulate real time example of that. Cloud computing. Somebody also asked me a question that is there any limitation on the number of instances server cloud can offer? I would say no. Reason, sorry, it's a little louder, but the reason is when I go further in the Amazon, I would show you why. You can keep on demanding. You can keep on demanding and they would not stop you. So I hope everybody is clear now with this and what the cloud means. So Baba Tarun, whatever has said that any business service, you can then go over there. Now moving on, the cloud also offers you some kind of a service models based on the service it is working on. So service it is working on means, sorry, my pointer, yeah. There are four kind of a service models, but rather NIST, say I go with the NIST, which is the popularly adopted standard across the world. So NIST says it's a three service models. Now we talk about the business service, right? Now business service could be different kind. You provide infrastructure like a virtual compute power, virtual storage, virtual network, virtual desktop, some infrastructure on demand. So your business service is nothing but an infrastructure. You are offering something, a business service or infrastructure as a service to your end users. That is called AWS, infrastructure as a service model. Amazon has captured almost 40% or more. Some people say 80. It's a debatable, but market for the AWS. It's the largest infrastructure service provider across the world. It offers you virtual compute, storage, desktop, everything it offers you over there, and we'll see that more and more. But to be in a just a nutshell, somebody offering you some infrastructure, virtual infrastructure is called the infrastructure as a service. Now, what do I mean by platform? See, you got the infrastructure, but then you need to manage the infrastructure, right? You need to scale up, scale down, you need to configure everything, you need to do that. What about if a service is available which would be managing the platform for you? So you focus more on a development side. You develop an application, give it to this platform. This platform would have a capability which can manage all the underlying infrastructure. The best example is a Google App Engine, where you make a application in PHP, Tomcat, something over there, the jar file, something, a var file, you deploy on that. Underlying infrastructure would be managed by the service provider. So in this case, Google, if it requires to scale up, scale down, if it requires to connect with the database, so it would offer the database also to you. You can just connect over there. You can use that for the development and testing. So this is called a platform as a service model. A platform is offered. Here it's a one layer abstract on top of the infrastructure. In infrastructure, you manage complete infrastructure. In platform, you just give it to the platform and the platform would provide the underlying infrastructure. You don't need to manage that, right? So this is more like you drive a gearless car and you drive the car with the gears. Something kind of a here. Somebody saying my voice is breaking. Is it with everyone or is it with this case only? I'm audible clearly to everyone? Okay, I believe it is clear with the most. So could be issue at your end, friend. I'm not sure because the Otherwise, I guess it could have been everyone, but yeah, most of them are pretty clear, so not sure. It could be issue at my end. So yeah, coming back to infrastructure as a service to platform as a service. Now comes to the software as a service model. In the software as a service model, you get a software, a ready software, which is following the cloud models. The best example, Gmail, Office 365. And if I talk into Geoffrey Barker's term, even my mom can use it, right? You don't need to be a technical guy to use this. Anyone non-technical guy can also use this very easily. So that's why it comes as software as a service model, SaaS. Platform as a service model, PaaS, and infrastructure as a service model, IaaS. So SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. These are the three service models. But as our dear friend Larry Ellison said, it's a fashion-driven industry. So people like to use the buzzword. They would say management as a service, database as a service, network as a service different, something is a service. So the term come out in the market was anything is a service, XaaS. NIST does not recognize XaaS. NIST recognize only first three, but this is coming into picture a lot more, so I just thought to share with you. Right? Now, this is the service models. And then comes the deployment models. Where you deploy your cloud, that is more important. If it's available to everyone over the internet, anybody can use it. It's a public cloud. Over the internet protocols, broad network access, here the internet, anybody can use. Amazon, Google, Microsoft, all are the public cloud examples. In the private cloud, something which is to your private organization only. It's not available to everyone. Sometimes not even on internet. Only within your organization with the internet protocols you can access. That is called the private cloud. Or something you might have set up a VPN or something, but only your organization team can access. The private cloud is generally a single tenant. It might not be a multi-tenant, but yeah, it still uses the resources optimally for the organization. Public cloud and private cloud. Public cloud is available to everyone. Anybody can access from mobile, tablet, web, so desktop, anybody can access it. Private cloud would not be available to everyone. So your private cloud, I may not be able to access. My private cloud, you would not be able to access. So this is for the particularly organization. Now private cloud gives you the advantage of the scalability. Generally, you go to the Google, Amazon. If I go to the Amazon would have a massive infrastructure available to offer to you. Now why I use so many times, I'll come to that in a while when we go to the Amazon. But they have a massive infrastructure available. I would use the word virtually unlimited infrastructure. You keep on using, it would not stop you. You can think of like a Akshay Patra from the Mahabharata stories, because you demand, it's available. Private cloud would always have a challenge because you need to procure the infrastructure first and then make it. So they would have a finite infrastructure available. Now sometimes you just want to secure your data. You don't want to secure your application. Application is fine, but data should not be available publicly. So what you can do is you host your database in the private cloud, host the web and app servers on the public cloud because you want to scale here, and you breach both of them such a way that only people from this private cloud can access it. No one from the internet can access this. This concept is called the hybrid cloud. In hybrid cloud, you get the security of the private and the scalability of the public. If not taken care, it couldn't be vice versa also. But hybrid is a good option when you want to secure certain data and as well as want to achieve the part of the public also. Now I go back to the case of the Axis, HDFC and ICICI. They say, yeah, they all the three CEOs, Chanda Kochhar and Deepak Parekh, and I forgot the name, third name from ICICI, I think Sheila or someone, forgot. So they all met and said, see, we are the three largest banks in India. We have the huge resource pool, technically, money, everything. Why do we go to Finacle and pay them? Let's come together and make our own cloud, which is available for only all of us. Because if we give some logic to Finacle, they may implement that and they may sell to someone else. We don't want to do that. Let's make our own cloud. But that cloud is restricted to three of us only. In that case, people, like-minded people come together, or people with a special purpose come together, form a group and make their own cloud. Now what is the difference here in this? This is not public because it's available to only these people only. This is not private because it's not a single tenant. There would be a community of the people who come together. This is also not hybrid because it's not public, private, both. This is called the community cloud, where a community of people come together and make a cloud for them. So I can say it's an extended version of a private cloud, but it's not a complete private. It's the degraded version of the public cloud because it's not a public completely. So this can be the case, the community cloud. This is how your cloud is deployed based on the 4 deployment models are there. So I spent a huge amount of time here, but I just wanted to ensure that you all are clear on this thoroughly on this. And somebody asked me, and I'll answer that in a minute about hybrid. Give me time. These are the popular examples of SaaS, PaaS, and AWS. So when you go to the PaaS, SaaS model, you would find our own Amazon Web Service. You would find everything else. The Azure is there, Amazon. You would find the Novella, Rackspace. Rackspace is also getting momentum. GoGrid. Even Google has a Google Compute Engine now. Azure, Microsoft Azure also offers there. If I come to the PaaS model, everybody, there are so many, like Couchbase is there, database.com is there, Facebook Connect is there, Apigee is there for the APIs, Cloud Foundry, Red Hat is having its own for the OpenStack, whereas on Google App Engine, Azure over there, and even these two are now in AWS because they started their offering with the PaaS, but they believe the real money is in AWS, so they moved to the AWS more. In the SaaS model, you can say the Gmail and the Salesforce and the Office 365, and there's so many things here. You can find everything. So these are the popular examples of the AWS, PaaS, and SaaS. Right? Now, Varun, I know you have a few questions, but about all the related questions I would for the Amazon, I would like to park here because when I go to explain this topic, EBS and all that, I would try it, I guess I would clear more doubts about this because it would be too early to talk about the Amazon topic as of now. So I would request to park your questions till the time I go to the specific topic on the Amazon, and I'll assure you it would be clear for you. If you're not clear, you can always ask me that time. So these are the cloud models, and so these are the delivery models, cloud delivery models, how it works and all that. So you would have a SaaS, PaaS, and AWS again. And what are the end user generally would be? In the AWS, it would be more application owners or who want to set up their own AWS. In the PaaS model, again, it would be more about the case where the developers would like to use that and the application owners. SaaS, even my mom can use that, right? Gmail, Salesforce. Again, Salesforce would be a specific use case, but Gmail, Office 365, anybody can use that. So this is the case of the Amazon cloud, not Amazon, sorry, cloud delivery and the cloud service models over there. Now, what do we mean by the pay-as-you-go model? Amazon, in the SaaS model, normally people charge you based on the pay-as-you-go model on a monthly basis. Like Gmail generally charges you on a per user basis. Over there, per location basis, something like that. In the past, it's more about the data usage over there, how much data you're using. But these are the sample cases, frankly. It's not, if you want to make your own SaaS, PaaS, and AWS, you can define as per your need. This would be the case for you. Citric is a cloud, yes. So Citric is a kind of a cloud, definitely. It would fall more in a, I would say PaaS or AWS kind of scenario, but I would be tough to answer on that. Now, before I start on the benefits and risk, rather, I guess I missed one slide. Where did that go? Oh, hybrid was that. Anyway, what I can do is, let's do one thing. Before I go to the sample benefits and risk, any questions till now? I believe the question for the hybrid I have parked for now. A question from Santosh is Amazon just AWS? No, Amazon used to be AWS. Amazon started something on a PaaS, and Amazon has something on a SaaS model also. So Nalapuram says that community version of cloud, is it, we can say, is it an extended version of private cloud? As I said, you can see both. You can say it's an extended or a higher version of the cloud, private cloud, or lower version of the public cloud, because it's available to 3 to 4 community members. So you can, generally it would be higher version of the community cloud, private cloud, you can say that way. On the hybrid cloud, I'll come in a while. Any other questions? If I missed something? Why we call Amazon Web Service, I'll answer that question when I go to the Amazon. So I'll definitely answer that. Anyone else? Now a question from me. Are you enjoying? Did you like? Is the speed and everything okay for you? Yes, Sukumar, go ahead. Great. So just wanted to know everybody's comfortable, everybody's doing good. I hope I'm able to answer most of the part and everything. So Hadoop, Kirti says, is it IaaS or PaaS? See, Hadoop I would not categorize. Hadoop is a more like a methodology, but you would use the underlying IaaS or something for that part. So to run the Hadoop, you might use the IaaS, or sometimes you might get the ready PaaS kind of scenario also for the Hadoop also, manage Hadoop. Sukumar says, can you unmute? Sorry, Sukumar, you joined a little late, but I generally don't unmute because I found it very chaos. If you have any question, you can just write down here. I would definitely answer on that. So I'm sorry, but I don't follow this rule. The only reason is there was a lot of chaos happened in the past, and just based on all these my 20 plus workshops, I took a decision that I would not do this. So, and even frankly, you all can, if you can't discuss now or something, you can always drop me a mail also. So Satish says, is framework not considered as a PaaS? See, the PaaS would offer you something, a platform as a service. Does it offer you a platform? A managed Hadoop may fall into a PaaS. Again, if you say the Elastic map produced from Amazon, we can call it kind of a PaaS or SaaS, but Amazon would not publicly call it something. Amazon would not categorize. Amazon would fall more, only one thing Amazon is categorized as PaaS, but I will say some of the things Amazon has deliberately not decided, or they're saying that, okay, this is, because sometimes there's a little thinner line between SaaS or PaaS or AWS. Sometimes it may happen that this may fall into PaaS or this may fall into AWS. It may happen. So that's why Amazon has not categorically defined what they exactly call it, PaaS or something. What Amazon says, we are the predominantly AWS offering. We have a few offerings for the PaaS also, and you can do something in the, we have something for the SaaS also. So Ricardo, I'll answer your question with one of my slides over there. Okay, I think friends, it's a 9:25 my watch, so it's a time to take a little break. We can take a break of around 7-8 minutes. We all would be back by then. It's a 9:25, so around 9:32, or let's do 10 minutes for now. 9:34, we all should be back. Until that time, if you have any questions, you can just keep pinging here. Sukumar, just for your question, I discussed that topic before in the session also. I would request if you go through, because again, I did not answer this because I parked this for the day 8, and there is a lot opportunity, but we will talk something more in day 8 for this. So we'll meet back by 9:34.
Hey all, I'm back. Are you all? Okay. So one question Lohit asked me, can you give me example of anything as a service and if anything done? One of the very popular example is a workday. I'm not sure how many of you know. It's more like a business process as a service. Then there are the database.com which says we are giving a database as a service. Then there is a concept which Cisco and all are coming is with the network as a service. So there are the few examples. So which may fall into XAS, that's anything is a service model, right? Now coming to some of the simple advantages and the risk for the cloud types. When you go for the AWS, definitely you have one of the biggest advantages on demand infra. I spoke about the Amazon example and I said if I need a 200 GB RAM machine or I need a 1 terabytes or 16 terabyte hard disk, I can get in 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. And I can get those kind of 100 servers without any problem, very easily. Yeah, I should pay for a pay-as-you-go model because nothing comes as a free, though Amazon is a little different, it gives you something free. But this is what the on-demand infra is. But only worry is the security. Is it a secure or not? How about the data persistence? How do you achieve the data aggregations? What about the failure if it's in the internet? Now, for the security, I have a very interesting case from the Amazon itself. Amazon had one of the largest event, which is called the AWS reInvent, which happened in the 2014 November at Las Vegas. Now, that's Amazon's annual event, and his VP, the Jesse, when he was talking about, he said that the early people were not adopting the cloud because worrying the security. Now the trend is different. People come to the cloud because they think it's a secure. So that's why the security is not, still security is a little on the top of the mind. People do have the worry about security, but to bring to this notice for you. At the same time, when you talk about the data persistence, data aggregation, now some of the biggest vendors like Amazon, Google, they have the amazing offerings. And frankly, they would have the right kind of resources. Now, resource includes the money, talent or manpower, infrastructure, everything it includes. They have the right kind of resources to manage this. To give you a very great example, Facebook, they did one innovation recently for the data center. They wanted to save the power. Now, when you want to save the power, you would come on some of the conventions saying, okay, switch off the light sometimes or automation did something. This is the way we think about normally. Now, this is a Facebook, right? They have the real right talent. What they come out with, they said, let's break the myth first. Their question was, US works on 110 volt power. Their question was, why do we need 110 volt? Can we go with the 40 volt power or something? They created their own data centers. They started doing on this, which would not work on 110 volt. They would work on something different power. And they would have a source to generate the power and supply over than everything, which helped them to optimize the power cost. Come to the Amazon. Amazon has tied up recently, last month only, they tied up with some of the windmills and all that to generate the power. They procured their own windmills and they would be generating for the green power. So they break the myths, they do the innovations. So they have the right kind of a pool of the talent, research, money, everything available to ensure you get the best of the services on a cost optimal way. Now, see, as we all know, there is always a saturation at some point and you cannot go beyond that. That's why these guys do innovations to ensure that, okay, infrastructure cannot go beyond, but what about the other parts I can do decrease of that. Coming to the PaaS would definitely give you a standardized development environment, but it would have the similar kind of, it's a public PaaS, it would have a risk of the same as the AWS. Plus, it would have a vendor lock-in. If you are using Google App Engine, you can't move to the Amazon Elastic Beanstalk easily. So is the case for the SaaS. SaaS would also, if you're using the Gmail, you can't go to the Outlook online like that. You can't move that. But the SaaS is the advantage is reusable. You just go and start using it. So these are the advantage and disadvantages of the various cloud models. Now, some of them can be turned into positive, risk can be turned into positive also, or it can be taken care and it would do wonders for you. And for that, I would like to spend around 5 more minutes on this slide. So I would like you to focus here a little bit. Now, the people do worry a little bit, and I hope this would help you to clear some of more your doubts about this. People do worry about the control. Now, this quote from Spider-Man, with great power comes the great responsibility, right? And same case here, you need control. Now, politics and everything is all about the control. What you control more. You offer more services, you control more. The cloud is not far behind. And we try to see 5 cases. One is the dedicated IT. Dedicated IT is your in-house IT. You can say it is a private cloud also something, or you're dedicated your own infrastructure. Hosting provider case is where you would ever hosted your service on a third-party provider. I am sharing my screen. Is my screen visible to everyone? Okay. Harsh, it could be issue at your end because everyone else is able to see this distribution of control part. Could be Harsh, could be issue at your end. So Harsha, sorry, you can just check at your end because everyone else is. Okay. Now, what would happen that the hosting provider would be a third-party service provider where you would have access. This would be like a where you don't want to own your own infrastructure. You tie up with some service provider where you would be having all your data center in that. The advantage is they would be managing your infrastructure. They would be procuring on behalf of you. They would be, plus you would have a physical access to go there, check everything over there. You want to set up something, you would have all kind of access there. That's called the hosting provider. Coming to the public AWS, this is the cloud. And now when you go to the public cloud and all that, forget about the access. Even you would not know where the data center is. Amazon would never say where their data center is. They would say my data center is in Chennai. My data center is in Mumbai or California or something in Eastern US somewhere or Ireland. They would never give you the exact location. So in that case, public AWS would always, or public cloud would behave differently. Now we try to compare all this. When I go to the case of the dedicated IT, everything is under your control. Only thing, blue part says under your control, green part says you are sharing with someone. Your control is shared with someone, and orange part says it's with someone else. So blue part means green part. Here in the dedicated IT, storage, server, VM, app, data, everything you own. Because you make your own infrastructure, you would have a storage, you would have a server, you have a VM, app, data, everything, you would have everything on your own. Yeah, network, you would be sharing with someone because you might have taken infrastructure, internet from Bharti Airtel or Vodafone or Tata Communication or Reliance, someone like that. So it's a shared. The shared means it can be at 2 breaking points. Either it breaks from your end or it can break from that service provider's end also. Blue means it's only you are responsible. Orange means only the cloud provider is responsible. So dedicated IT, you would have a full control. So whatever you want to do, you have the full control. So currently we are talking about the control, but at the same time, you can think the control, with great control, great power comes great responsibility. Why? Here you are responsible to manage everything. You have to set up storage, you have to set up server, you have to set up VM, you have to set up application on that, you have to set up the data. If something goes on server wrong, you have to manage everything. You have to run and fix it. You have to plan for the security. You have to plan for the backup. You have to plan for the high availability. Everything you are responsible. Right? So you get all the controls, If you did it well, you would have everything. If you did it wrong, you would mess up everything. But at the same time, as I said, this is control, so you have the power. Now how you use the power, that's more important. Going to the hosting provider. Hosting provider is where you would be going to the someone else data center and hosting there. Where network, you can always tell them that, okay, please take a Bharti or someone, and again it would be a shared. Sometimes they would be connected to your net infrastructure also, your data center somewhere. So it would be shared. Storage and server I say there because it's not in your premise. The hosting provider is responsible to take the backup, to maintain the server, to procure the server, to set up the everything. That hosting provider would do everything for you. Yeah, you might have a physical access to go and access that, but at the end it's in someone else data center. He is managing on behalf of you, so he can also mess there. Now on this server, whatever virtual machine is created, that would be yours because you would provide your credentials to log into that VM. That hosting provider would never know. So that VM would be completely in your control. On that VM, whatever app you create or the data you create, it would be completely in your control. So here you are also responsible for the backup. You need to take the backup of the data. You need to take the backup of the application. You need to ensure the availability of the VM. Everything you would be responsible. Here it would be the server storage would be shared. So hosting provider would be doing this. Network is where again it's a shared part. Right, so from dedicated to hosting, you start losing control. Sometimes it may be you start losing your sleep, or sometimes I can say you start getting more sleep because you are managing less. It's a way you want to take it. If they are providing the right secure resource with the better services, you get more sleep. If they don't provide the right resource or it's not in control, you worry, you get the less sleep. It's the way you take it. So blue, more greens, or more orange can result in a better for you. If it's the right provider, can result in a wrong for you. Going to the public AWS, now you don't know where the cloud is hosted at all. So you don't know which network they are using. You don't know how they are managing storage. You don't know how they are doing server. Amazon and others, they just give you a virtual machine. Now this virtual machine is shared because it is running on Amazon's own infrastructure. If this infrastructure goes down, data center goes down, there is chance that VM would go down without notifying you, right? And you would not have any control there because you can't control the server. That's why. So that's why VM is showed as a shared entity. Now on this VM you would have a full access. So whatever application you would deploy, whatever data is generated by the application would be completely your control. So coming back to same the responsibility part, you don't own any responsibility in the bottom three. In VM, you don't own any responsibility here because it should be managed by the service provider. But yes, for the backup, security, everything you just configure that part here in the VM. But then whatever the app you deploy, whatever the data is being created would be completely your responsibility to manage. You don't need to, the cloud provider would not have any access over there. Amazon can never log into your instance and say, look into your data. They would never have access. They would have just provide you this infrastructure. On top of that, whatever you do, Amazon would never know also. Coming to the public pass. In the public pass, again, these three you don't own, so you don't manage. Now, pass is more about the services which offers to a platform services, right? So, this is like a gearless car. Now, when you go to that, here the services model would be where it provides the services like APIs and all that to access some of the part. Like you want to, with the Google App Engine, you want to use the Google database, you want to use the Google Chat, something, those services different, plus the hosting of your application, and it provides a platform. So whatever the services you use, using that service, you install your app. Now since this app is using these services directly, so app is also shown as a shared model, because if there is some vulnerability in the service, if there is something issue with the service, it can affect your app. So that's why app is shown as a shared model. So here you don't need to manage the app, but yeah, you need to ensure the security and all other aspect of the app. Services you don't manage, it's completely offered by them, but you can consume those services. And Whatever the data being generated by this app is completely in your control. Google or anybody would not know which kind of a data structure you have, what kind of a data you are storing. They would not have any kind of this example, right? Now going to the public SaaS model, PaaS to SaaS. My mom can do it. So network, storage, server, service, app, you don't know what is. Do you know in Gmail what service it is? No, you just directly consume the email part. They give you ready-made email to use it. Now you have configured your email ID. So whatever the data email is generating, that is what you own. But again, it's a shared because the backup and everything would be taken care by the email only. Still, it is also a shared model. Reason. How many times have you seen that in the Gmail you have received a mail saying, hey Tarun, let's go for a vacation. And on the right hand side you would see an ad of yatra.com. And you would wonder why somebody said vacation and Amazon or Google shows me the ad of the yatra. How would they know? Or I'm sure everybody would have come across this. You type a mail in the Google Gmail saying that, hey Tarun, please find the attached mail for your reference. And do not attach anything. Just send the press button. Just press the send button. And Gmail will warn you. Did you mean to attach something and you did not attach? And you would be aback. Hey, it reads my mail. It's not reading your mails, but yeah, they have integrated artificial intelligence here, which would ensure that to make your life easy. But that can be misused also. And we have seen in the case of the Google, Amazon, Facebook, everybody, right? They misuse your data because they promote their advertisers with your data. There was a very good case, again, just for a reference. There was a guy in USA who was storing some objectionable pictures in the Gmail. And he was storing over there. Google found out that. Google has informed the police. Police got hold of that person in USA and they broke the racket and everything. That was very good. So people appreciated. But the people criticized for one thing. That was, why did Google read my mail? How did Google come to know this person is doing this? That means Google is reading my mails. It's not secure. Correct? So data is also a shared entity here. So this is the distribution of control. With more power comes the more responsibility. I would say with more control comes the more responsibility. It's all about you, how you configure. You want to have a better sleep or less sleep. Are we all clear with this concept? I hope this would help you to understand the cloud models and the cloud concept very well in here, what you get out of this. Any doubts or questions till now? This and the previous cloud is one of the two important slides for the day, so I just spent a huge time here. I wanted to get your feedback. Are you all clear? So can I say everybody is now cloud expert? You can go to the market and preach the cloud. So can I get the good now? I hope the people might have posted or tweeted something that okay, I'm able to understand the cloud now. Can I see the tweets? Or are you still following the cricket score? Okay. So in the cloud deployment models, we talk about the public, private, and the hybrid clouds. Thanks all for the feedback. I hope you all are enjoying. So that's a perfect thing for me, and that's my only motive. You all should be clear. And frankly, again, why I keep on reiterating, because I have varying audience here. The people with the 2 years, 5 years, and the people with the 15 and 18 years of experience. Now, everybody would have a different kind of expectations, and they would have a different kind of understanding also. So somebody would be able to grasp very easily. Somebody would take some time because they might have a different concept. They might have learned differently over there. So just based on that, I wanted to be streamlined for everyone, so everybody should be able to understand. That's my only motive. And that's why if you any moment you feel I'm not on a right space, or if you want, you are not clear, you can always ping me and say here, that's okay. Please explain again, and I would be more than happy to help you here. Okay, coming back to cloud computing deployment models. The first one is a public cloud. You get the mega, I want to use mega, massive infrastructure and service, publicly available, pay-as-you-go model, right? In the private, you would always have a finite resources. Hybrid, somebody asked me about the hybrid. Okay, so here is how the hybrid would look like to you. This is generally off-premise data center. That is more like a cloud, where you would be hosting your web applications. So what would be the case? I would give you example. This is AWS, right? You host your app server and web server here. This is your data center. You have your DB here. Now they both would be connected over a secure VPN tunnel, such a way that only traffic coming from this tunnel can access the database, no one else can from the internet. So if somebody tries to access the database directly from internet, no, they can't. Somebody trying to access the database from the internet, no, they can't. All these cases would not be possible. Only this is the case. Now how does this work? That's what the hybrid model is. What do you achieve with this? You get the secure database access. Your app server and web server are fine because you want them to scale and they get the data from database. So even if somebody it's in a public cloud securely, it would be fine. You get the massive scalability here. This is more like Amazon VPC would help you to achieve this kind of a case. GoGrid also offers you to make this kind of a cases. Right, so somebody asked me about the hybrid cloud. Can you explain? I think this clears your example, right? Vipul or somebody asked me, I'm sorry, I forgot, I'm bad at the names since I have huge number of participants today. So, okay, great. Now, what do you get the simple benefits and risk of the cloud models? Public cost, it's very cheaper. Time to market is very fast. Available on the go. Startups like the Amazon, you get the massive elasticity. You have the self-service. Self-service, it's a very important for the cloud model, frankly. Like you go to the Google and you want to create a new user, you want to create a user, everything you can do yourself. If you can't automate the things, you would not be able to survive in the cloud. Today you have a 10 users, tomorrow you can have 1,000 tenants. This would not be scalable model unless you provide the self-service to them. But with the public cloud and all that, we saw that you would have a lack of control. Security could be a risk if it's not taken care of properly. You would have a vendor lock-in because from Amazon to Microsoft, you can't move easily. So same way, the private, you get all the control, you get all the security, you get all the compliance, but you can't scale beyond certain limit. You need to plan for the management and everything over there. You go to the hybrid, it would have the advantage of both, even the risk of both. So if not taken care, it can be vice versa also, that it would give the risk of the private and the benefit of the risk of the both also is possible. Actually, we wanted to achieve the risk benefit of both. Instead, it can be risk of both also. So you need to plan the hybrid very well. Now, what the cloud key characteristic would be? Cloud is agile. Whatever the technology you use, whatever the flavor you want to use, it would be available in the cloud. Pay as you go model, so it's a very cost effective for you. It would be device and location independence. You can access from your tablet, from your mobile, from your web, laptop, desktop, anything you can access that. With the multi-tenancy, you get the centralization of the data. You get the better utilization, optimized usage. So that's an advantage with the multi-tenancy, you get it. At the same time, cloud is a reliable and sustainable model. And believe me, cloud is really a sustainable model. People question this. And I would like to give the example of I think Chrysler or General Motors. I'm bad at the name, so sorry, I might have forgotten. The guy who first started, I think Ford or somebody, I completely forgot. When he started the car in this, the what thing they never anticipated, let's say when they started early in the 90s, 1908 something, they would say, who would use this car? This is a costly affair. Nobody would use the car and it cannot be a commodity. It's a luxury item and nobody would use this. Now what he did not predict that time was the sustainable model was that the infrastructure would improve. There would be better fuel mechanism available. There would be infrastructure, road and everything. The car would be better for use to self-drive. Everything would be possible. So somebody, I'm sorry, I'm very bad at the name, so I'm saying he predicted that by 1940 there would be hardly something 100,000 of car in the market, which number was crossed only in 1910 and sometime like that, because it was a new innovation, new things coming up. So it's a very sustainable model. Nobody predicted that. And same thing happening here. Cloud, what people assume to be 2020, I think Henry Ford. So Varun is saying, and I guess it can be Henry Ford. Again, as I said, I'm bad at the names, so I'm just giving you reference here. It's a very sustainable model. People predicted in 2010 that by 2020 it would be 240 billion. But they never predicted that it would be a growth. Internet would be 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G model coming up so fast. Now it would need a scale, and unless you have I have a PPT, I can show you an image if I have handy at the end of session on them tomorrow, which is the Facebook and everybody generating petabytes of data every day. Petabytes. Now how do they store it? WhatsApp, how do they survive? Now everybody would have a question that how does it survive in the WhatsApp would survive the model? It's giving you everything free. Dropbox runs everything free. Most of the things they charge you, but how do they survive all that? So that's the beauty of all the part. So cloud key benefits, what people are, this is a very good scale by the survey by the RIGHT scale. RIGHT scale is one of the major aggregator for the cloud provider, the broker service, which works with the most of the clouds, and it's very popular across the market. What they call it, they provide the greater scalability. The people believe that from the 2013 to 14, the people have started believing more and more, saying that the cloud provides more scalability. You have the faster access to infrastructure, and cost saving is also, people believe it's one of the reason why that. So this is the, what are the cloud benefits people are enjoying with the cloud computing. And a few use cases just for reference. This is just a few sample. The cloud use cases are enormous. You can think like anything. You can think for infrastructure transformation, dev test, hosted. Now dev and test would be, cloud would be the perfect for the DR and the backup and all that part. For example, you have a infrastructure which is running 300 servers. Just an example. Now you want to simulate certain load which can run, to see that okay, whether 300 would suffice or not. Now are you really, and your application is already running in production, so are you going to buy 300 more servers and put in a place to see whether 300, because that would be redundant. If you go to the cloud, you buy those 300 servers, run for 10 hours of testing, you close it, you just pay for 3,000 hours. It could be, if you see 1 hour per dollar, it would cost only $3,000. That's it. Imagine how much cost you have saved here. That's the power of the cloud. There are different verticals started adopting, the educations and the communication media, everybody started. Banking is lagging little bit because that's due to its legacy drag, as well as that's security issues, but banking is also coming big time in the cloud. They are more into private cloud than the public cloud. That would I say more. Now somebody asked me, can I run Java JEE in cloud? Can I do this? Or if I have this programming skill, what can I do? If you know Java, .NET, PHP, Ruby, Node.js, Python, or any other programming language, you can deploy on cloud. Because cloud is nothing. Now, if you go for AWS model, you can set, if you have any of the IS skills like Windows administration, database administration, you can create your own private cloud, or you can manage the cloud. Once you have set up the cloud, you will get a virtual server. Now on top of that, whatever you want to deploy, Java based application or .NET based or PHP based, you can do that. Yeah, you would need some architecture experience. Then you don't need a specific Java specific experience. That would become where you want to design the application. When you want to design the cloud, you need the Amazon specific architecture experience. How would you get it? Tarun Dave will help you. Wait till day 7. I am there to help you. How do you design for the cloud? We have the session. So whatever the technology you know, don't worry. There would be something for you in the cloud. There would be something here to learn for you. And what about the open source? With this cloud, people have started open source movement also. It has not got a so strong movement or backup over there, but it has started moving over there in this direction. Open cloud is more like a open formats plus open interface and all that part. But yeah, it has started getting some momentum, and a few of the popular examples are CloudStack, OpenShift, OpenStack. You want to make your own AWS, or you want to make your own PaaS kind of cloud foundation, OpenShift provides you this. So there are the options available where you can use this part. Concerns, right? People get the people. Sometimes the cloud can be scarier than Halloween dress code also, right? They would not like the cloud. Why? If not taken care well, it could be because you might lose the control. How do you integrate with the federated applications? How do you achieve the interoperability? How do you achieve the accessibility? What about the performance? Vendor lock-in? All this is a worry. Till now what we heard was a goody part. This is a little bad part. And again, I'm saying this is not a bad, but it has to be taken care well. Right? If you are happy with Amazon, you don't need to move out. So you don't care for the vendor lock-in. Amazon provides the best of the kind of security, so your security would be taken care. If you messed up, Amazon can't help you. What about if cloud is down, so business surprises? That's also possible. But then Amazon provides an offering that why can't you make a highly available design something? It would never be down. You pay them money, you get the service. And when you see all this, the cloud security is still one of the concern for the people. But that was more concern for the cloud, because the organization which was adopting the cloud, they were more worried about the security than the organization which are more on a cloud focus. So that's the case, how it's working on the cloud security part. And this is the notorious 9. Cloud Security Alliance, or CSA, is an organization which is formed by some of the major cloud providers. Their major focus area is to work on the cloud security and improve that. Now at the bottom of the page you find a link. This is for the link for the notorious 9. This is the white paper they have written. I would recommend you can go through. These are the 9 points which they have written down here. You can go through those points and find out, and they also give you that how do you improve on that. So why this is a breach and how can you avoid this. So if you want to make your own cloud, these are the things you might like to focus on to. Right? So people worry the cloud, and frankly, as I said, what Jesse Terry said in the Amazon reInvent, now people have started moving to the cloud because they believe it's more secure. They are going there. Amazon is growing phenomenally. They're growing because people know if I am taken care well, it would provide you with the best of the service, the security part. Yeah, if you don't take care well, then it's your problem. So overall, cloud would come you cheaper, scalable, small startup cost, on demand. Yeah, there could be a business surprise. It could be a vendor lock-in. It could be a security issue. But if this is taken care well, you would have all the plus part of the cloud. So can I say everybody is now cloud expert? Everybody understands the cloud very well? Are you all clear and thorough with the cloud computing? Yes or no? And any questions? So Ricardo says, what about cost and ROI? I think I mentioned that if you are in a public cloud, you are going on a CapEx model, right? So you go, sorry, OpEx model. So you pay only for you are using. So you don't need to worry about the ROI. If you are in a private cloud, you may worry about your return on investment. You need to plan the chargeback and all that part. Right, Ricardo? So it depends which kind of a cloud you are going. If you are on a public cloud, you don't worry on ROI because you are using them and you are getting out of this. So you don't need to worry about ROI at all. So Piyush says, I heard something on the Redshift. Even I have not heard a lot about that. Even I need to check on that Redshift. I'll try to check. Frankly, Piyush, I am not much aware about the Redshift. I'll check and let you know. I have not heard much about that. Lohit says, what is vendor lock-in? Vendor lock-in is if you have hosted your application on Amazon, can you move to the Microsoft easily? No, you can't. That's where your vendor lock-in comes. If you are using, is it an interoperable or not? Like what we call Java as an interoperable. Is it that or not? Right? Any other question? Piyush, I would recommend if you can just drop me a mail about what you heard about the Redshift, I can find something and I can get back to you soon. And Santosh says for PaaS, along with the service provider security, we can take care of additional security at web app also. Definitely. As I said, the service provider would give you their own security at infrastructure or platform level. Now, you can also provide more security at application level. Now, just a very simple example, SQL injection, right? If you're not taken care well, what can platform provider do? It's your application problem. You have kept a very normal password which anybody can crack. What would the service provider would do? It's your problem. So you also need to take care of the security at your application also. Ricardo says, could you migrate to Azure? I mean, you are saying from Amazon to Azure? It would be tough. Anybody can migrate there. And also, frankly, if you have learned Amazon well, Azure would have a similar kind of a concept. All scaling and the zones, regions, everything would be similar. But yeah, you need to learn those topics. We focus mainly on Amazon only, but I don't think it would be tough for that. What about compliance? Nilapuramal, I'll have some answer for you in the coming slides. My email ID, I think I mentioned in the early slide, it's a tarun@edureka.co. Just for everyone, I'm just typing again. Okay, so I believe most of you are now cloud experts. So now we are going to the special flavor of cloud, Amazon Web Services. What is Amazon Web Service? And henceforth everything what you learn is about Amazon, 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 Amazon. So next 7 sessions and the rest of an hour would be focused more on Amazon, 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 Amazon. So pardon me for that, but we would be doing that. And that's what the focus area is. I want you to be expert on Amazon. So when you go out of this course, you can go and say that, go, if you want to learn the Amazon, go here. You would be Amazon expert like me. Yeah, at the same time, it's people say you can clap only with 2 hands. I need something from your end also. I'll clap from one side. You also need to follow me, do some of the assignments I do, which would be helpful. Right? Now, 3 parts of the Amazon. You all know Amazon.com. Amazon.com is one of the world's largest, not one of the world's largest online retail service provider. It is having a multiple business. Some of the key business would be Amazon.com. You would have a seller business also where you can sell something over there. Third business, which is growing massively again, and what Amazon believes that in a few years, it would be the main business than Amazon.com. That is called the Amazon Web Service. Now an interesting story I would like to start with. Have you heard this name? I'm sure most of you had. If you are in USA, you must have. Jeff Bezos, do you know? Have you heard this name before? Yep. He's CEO, owner, whatever say, of Amazon. Right? He's a great guy like Steve Jobs, and he's a visionary and everything. One thing which is not known to everyone, he's a micromanager. He loves to do micromanagement. He's a techie also, and he's ably supported by a guy called Dr. Werner Vogels. I'm not sure, you might have heard about this many times. Dr. Werner Vogels. He is CTO or CIO of Amazon, and he's the brain behind Amazon Web Service. He is the brain behind all Amazon researches. Now, in early 2003 or 2 or 3, Amazon was the largest service provider or largest retail provider across the world. But it was facing one challenge. They were not able to grow beyond certain limit. Grow means not the customer wise, in a scale, I would say that they were not able to scale application beyond that. And that was a worrying factor for them. And Jeff and Dr. Werner and some of the top heads discuss and all that, and they decided that when you want to grow beyond certain limit, the only solution you want to go is use the SOA based concept or use the web services. What do I mean by the web services? Means you componentalize or compartmentalize everything. Everything would be modularized. Use the web service among the components and you work on that. This is almost in 2002-3 early. And Bezo has made an announcement across all its developers that henceforth, if you are developing anything in Amazon, if it's not a web service compliant or SOA compliant, you need to leave the company. It's like a perform and perish. Everything should be web service compliant. Because when you want to scale beyond certain limit, this is the solution for you. You can't scale without this. There is no alternative for you. Now, why was this? We would see something more on a day 7, we talk more. But to tell you, since then Amazon is following completely everything in a web service model. And that is the one of the reasons when Amazon started their own cloud business, which is called the infrastructure service model or something, they named it Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Service is the largest infrastructure as a service provider across the world. People say they capture 35% market, some say 70% market. It's a varying number. And frankly, it's a huge number. Now somebody asked me why they call it web service, Amazon Web Service. I think this answers your question. This is why I park it for some time. But it's Amazon's IT infrastructure business model, which is known as Amazon Web Service. And we would be talking about that. Because this is the in thing. Going forward, this would be the leading day by day. And it is the offering for each and everything. You want to deploy and manage virtualization, you get it. You want to run something analytics, Amazon would have something on that. You want to go something on application management, it will do something there. You want to go for storage and content deployment, you would have something. Just a moment. You want to do the computer networking, it would have something. It has everything, you name it. It is having almost 40 plus service offering. It is having 40 plus service, and I'll show you some of the list in coming slides. So Amazon is great. It's leading. Now, what is this about? Let's go back to, or why Amazon first? Let's go back to a Cricinfo case. Our favorite. So I'm sure everybody who is following the score, they must be knowing what happened to Sri Lanka and New Zealand. Whether Sri Lanka is going to win by chasing 300 or not. But yeah, coming back to Cricinfo case, if you are not on that page, then please come here. In that, we were talking about the Sachin's ODI double 100. Now what could have Cricinfo done to avoid this? There is a one case which is that traditional infrastructure. I don't know whether Cricinfo is having their own infrastructure, they are on Amazon, they are on something else. Just trying to portray a story here. Suppose Cricinfo is having their own infrastructure. So when they started, they might have procured infrastructure, something which can cater to the around 500,000 users. Because they believe they have very less users. Now at that time, their actual demand would, you would say, normally was below 300,000 users only. Generally, at max it would go to 300,000. Only when there is some match or World Cup going on, it would reach to 300, or otherwise if there is no match, it would lead down to the even 50,000 also. Now sometimes during the World Cup, and they were trying to cross the 300,000 around. So they thought it's a time. So around 2005-07 they changed the infrastructure, and now they say we can support the 5 million users, which is a great thing. Now 5 million, in this case, the most of the World Cup matches and everything, they were able to handle all that, except in one of the World Cup matches in the final. I would say they had some 6 million users something, which was again they would be able to manage somehow. Only little bit of performance issue, but they were able to manage better. Now on that fatal day, this 5 million crossed to the 45 million, right? And they had no infrastructure available to support that. Now, even if they go now and say, let's buy a new infrastructure which can support the 30 or 40 million users, still sometime it may break. Suppose the Rohit Sharma is now going to hit a 300, or who knows, Warner or somebody hits that. There would be more people flooding there, which would be break their site again. Who knows, right? So it may not be sufficient, and there is always chance of a breaking over there. What if they are in the cloud? What if they are using Amazon? How would that help them? Amazon can help you to provide an infrastructure which is little more than your requirement. So you need the users of 300,000, you launch an infrastructure which can support 400,000 users, right? So like 300,000 requires 100 servers. You here launch around 125 servers, something like that, a random number I am saying. And when your usage reaches 50,000, so you need only 50 servers. In that case, if you were on your dedicated infra, you still are paying for this infrastructure. But if you were on a cloud, you would be paying only for the 60 servers only. You would be saving some cost. As soon as your requirement depends, your cloud would also, infrastructure would be automatically removed. Whenever your requirement increase, cloud would keep increasing everything. So it would be able to save that. And this is what you see, huge cost optimization part, the green arrow. This is where you can save a lot of money. And the day when this is going to happen, you can always spin up more and more, which would be able to. So it's very unlikely you would break any time. It would be able to suffice your requirements. So that's why it's an elastic and pay per usage infrastructure. So you save a huge amount. Only what you use when you need it, and you pay for what you use. And the advantage is you don't manage it. So even if your hardware is obsolete, you don't worry. The cloud provider does take care of everything. They would keep on rotating everything. You would be saving a huge amount. Isn't that great? Isn't that exciting? Right? So this is why you have a huge opportunity cost. You can save a lot of money with the cloud. And when you have all this option possible, why would Amazon give you this? Or would it be, or somebody says, how many servers can I get from Amazon? And I use the word massive, 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 right? Why? Read the statement. This is an official statement from Amazon, which says in 2004, Amazon had around 7 billion of retail business. They were having around 8,000 plus employees, and they would have a whole lot of servers. They would not give the numbers, but I'm sure this would be more than 1,000 or something more servers, right, to sustain those people. Similar kind of infrastructure Amazon is adding to their data center every day. Every day they are able to sustain one company which can run the $7 billion business like that. Now imagine the power of this, and this is every day, right? So in a year, that's why I say it's a virtually unlimited infrastructure from Amazon. And that's why I use the word massive, 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 massive. Don't read the messy. I'm saying massive, massive, massive. Correct? So does it know? Now you know what is the power of Amazon. Why you don't need to worry. It's a on-demand, scalable, everything it justifies. Now what would be your homework of the day? This would be your homework. The left-hand side would be your homework. Just go and create one Amazon account. You don't need to think of developer. Just create one Amazon account. Go to aws.amazon.com/console or aws.amazon.com and just create your account. Only bad part, I won't say bad part, but tricky part is you need to provide your credit card information. You need to provide your credit card information. Now what I heard is it also works with the debit cards also, or even the people in India who might not have the credit card always, if you have a State Bank of India account, that also allows to create your own virtual credit card. That also you can use here. So, but this is a one thing which you need to have your own. Just create one account with the Amazon. If you don't have, then create one. But don't do anything apart from that. Just create account for me. When you do this create account, Amazon would make a $1 as a transactional charge for temporarily just to verify your card is valid or not. Don't worry, Amazon would not charge back your bank. So bank would reverse the transaction in a week or 10 days. So you would not be charged. But this is just for at max. If they don't, again it would be maximum $1. Still I doubt for that. But this is the case. But at least create one Amazon account for you. Go to aws.amazon.com. aws.amazon.com. I'll show you the URL. Hold on. Somebody says, is it different from Amazon.com account? No, you can use your Amazon.com account there, but if you have linked your credit card or not. So I would recommend go to aws.amazon.com account. Just say sign into console, and it would give you page something like this. You need to say I am a new user, I am returning user. You have an Amazon ID, you can use that, but they might ask your credit card information. You need to provide that. That's the only thing. Sign up with that. So that's the only thing you need to do. Now, one nice question from Varun. He says, what if Amazon runs out of the physical space to keep servers? Frankly, it would not happen. And why? I'll come to that slide also. So thankfully, I have some of the answers in my slide, so I would be able to explain that. Piyush has a question. Does a team of people from Amazon track your performance and provide additional service? No. What would happen? Again, it's a very good question. Amazon has a two offering. Amazon has an offering where you can scale automatically, or you can set up the scaling where it would scale automatically, or Amazon provides some platform as a service model which would be able to scale up and down automatically. See, remember, everything is a self-service model now. Amazon team would never get involved. They have a millions of customers. Now, if they go with each and every customer, they would never come out of this. So they have provided everything self-service. It's just so easy to use. You would love this, and that's why when we go progress 4 or 5 days, you would know how it works. So I think your question would be answered by day 4, where you would know most of the answers, how it would work for the Cricinfo case. Right? But at least do these first 2 steps, at least for now, which would be helpful. Don't do anything apart from that. I would request, otherwise it will start charging you. All question read like a question from Nilapuram. How Amazon monitoring the alerts? I'm not sure which kind of alerts you are saying. If you're talking about the billing or some other type of alerts, I'm not sure which kind of alerts you're talking about. But I'm sure I would have the like displays and everything. I think I would have answered also on day 3. Some of the alerts I can provide you by that time also. You would get quite a few answers on day 3 also on this. Right? Now, this is a very important slide. So pay a little attention here and your time. This is the Amazon Web Service terminology, and I would like to spend some time here. First concept is AMI, or popularly known as Amazon Machine Image. Now, what is that Amazon Machine Image? Now, to give a real life example, if you procured a laptop or desktop, you would get a DVD drive, DVD, right? Which would have all the setup file or the installable of the operating system. You might have got that DVD. When you place DVD in your disk drive, it would try to configure your operating system, right? It would configure, set up everything for you. Along with that, it would also install some of the software like 3 months of the virus scanner free, PDF reader, or Word reader, or some other optimizing tools. A lot of things it would install over there, right? How did it get there? Because that was part of that installation bundle. Yes? Or if you know the concept of the ghost image, does anyone know the concept of the ghost image? From the infrastructure side would know a little bit about that ghost image. The ghost image is nothing but similar like this, where you create a setup in one machine, like a Windows machine, everything you set up over there with all the kind of a scenario. It will have some software, virus scanner, everything set up over there. Now when you want to replicate to the multiple machines, you can't go to each and every machine and set up Windows over there, then set up the virus scanner, then set up the monitoring tools, everything there. Instead, you make a ghost image, and you just run that ghost image on another machine. It would set up everything similar to this machine, right? So that's the concept, is similar like a Amazon machine image. Amazon machine image is nothing but a pre-configured bundle software. Remember the words, pre-configured bundle software. It means it might be pre-configured for the operating system, Windows, Ubuntu, Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, anything. But it's not only with that. It can be take a case of the LAMP, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. It's a very popular word. I'm sure most of you might have heard. Right? So this would be a Linux, would be like a SUSE Linux or the Ubuntu Linux, something like that. It would have a Apache, it would have a MySQL and PHP. If you have an AMI of LAMP, you can go to the Amazon machine, select the LAMP AMI, and then say launch. When you say launch, it would ask certain kind of a launch parameters, which you will see tomorrow. But just consider, AMI is nothing but a pre-configured bundle. Bundle means it's a zip compressed in some format, which is known to Amazon. So you can't see the format, how it's, you just know there is an AMI available with some kind of a software. It can be LAMP, it can be with the WebSphere, it can be with the Windows and MS SQL Server, it can be with the Linux with the Oracle, it can be anything. Once you have everything, you just launch an AMI. That AMI would result in an instance. Instance is nothing but a virtual machine or virtual server available on the cloud. We talk about the VM, right? VM is nothing but a virtual machine. So you get a virtual machine in the cloud. Now when you have this virtual machine available, you would have a full access on this machine. You can log into that now, whatever you do. What that instance means, this virtual server would have a operating system as a Linux. It would also have the Apache installed here. It would also have a MySQL installed here. It would also have the PHP installed here. It would have everything here. Now when everything is part of this, you have everything available, you just start using it. Now you just deploy your application here. So you deploy your application here, the PHP application is deployed here, it's ready to use for you. You can start using it. But comes the case where you say, I have deployed my application, now I want to launch multiple machines like this. How would I do this? Then Amazon provides an option, make an AMI out of this. This would be, I give it name as a LAMP1. You can give your own name. So when I give name as a LAMP1, any name, and I launch a new machine from that, and when I launch a new machine from that, that LAMP1 would have Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, as well as my application, all part of that. Because remember, when I created my own AMI, it's nothing but a pre-configured bundle software. So it had LAMP as well as whatever data was there in my instance, everything comes as a pre-configured bundled and stored as an AMI. So I can always reuse my AMI to launch multiple instances out of that. I repeat all my words again. AMI is nothing but a pre-configured bundle software. AMI is pre-configured bundle software, which is when it is in Amazon's own format. You cannot read it, but when it is launched, it would result in a virtual software, or sorry, virtual machine, which would have all the operating system as well as all the software you configured would be part of this. So everybody clear with the concept of the AMI and instance? Any doubts? right? So this is a very important concept to know. I would use these words day in, day out when we go to the Amazon. So again, when I show you, it would be more clear, but just to understand the concept is very important. A pre-configured bundle software and a virtual machine available to you. Now, this virtual machine, whatever you got, would have generally ephemeral storage. Ephemeral means temporary storage. Now, this is not the right case because sometimes you want to make the storage permanent. You want that storage to survive for a longer period. In this case, you use a concept called a volume. Volume is nothing but a persistent storage offered by Amazon. When tomorrow we talk about the EBS, EBS is nothing but a volume. I'll explain that tomorrow. But volume helps you to achieve the persistent storage here. Now this volume would have a multiple use. You want to create multiple volumes. You want to also store the backup of this volume. So if something happens to volume, the data is still same. So Amazon provides a concept called the snapshot. A snapshot is nothing but a point in time backup of a volume. So you take the backup of the volume using the snapshot mechanism. We will also talk in detail about the snapshot. But for your reference, just understand snapshot is nothing but a point in time backup. And this snapshot would be stored in Amazon storage, which is called Amazon S3. Even this AMI is also stored in Amazon S3. The snapshot and this both are stored in Amazon S3. We will talk about S3 in detail next Saturday. We will talk about the snapshot, volume and instance and AMI tomorrow. But it's a very important to understand the concept. AMI is a pre-configured bundle software. When it's a launch, it will result in an instance. If you want to make the data of the instance persistent, you use the volume. When you want to take the backup of the volume, you use the snapshot. That snapshot would always be stored inside the storage, and even AMI's data is always stored inside the storage. Right? So this is how the cycle completes. Clear? Now I have a few questions. One is, when you want another instance, do you replicate the instance or you relaunch the AMI? Generally, you would be launching the AMI again. You can't replicate the exact, you can't copy paste the instance. If you want to do this, you have to launch the AMI only. Amazon would give you the launch more instance like this, but that's always a tricky one. And when we go to the EC2, we can discuss this. Generally, it would be ideal to launch from the AMI over there. Lalit says, can you please repeat the AMI versus instance? I guess I just repeated, so I hope it's clear now, Lalit, right? Or any other question? Or still not clear? Right, Suresh, did it answer your question? And Lalit? So Lalit, as I remember said it, think of AMI is nothing but your installable disk, which can create a machine for you. An installable DVD, which would have the DVD would have what? OS, the pre-configured software, everything. That's what the AMI is. And when it creates a machine for you, that is an instance. I hope it clears now, right? Okay, so moving on, where do you use Amazon? And this is just a simple use case. It's not an exhaustive list, a very minute list. You can use for the backup, archive, application hosting, media sharing, media distribution, academic growing, everything you want to do with Amazon, you can do that. And when we grow more and more, you would see that's a huge number of cases. Now this is another very important concept to note. Regions and zones. So somebody asked me if Amazon would run out of the space, then it would not. I tell you why. Amazon uses the concepts of the regions and zones. Region is nothing but a data center, or region is nothing but where Amazon is having its own data center. A geography where Amazon is having its own data center is called a region. So where is Amazon having data center? Amazon is having data center in US East, in US West, in South America, in Europe, in Singapore, in China also they have, in Japan, in Australia, they have their data center. So this all are, Amazon is having 11 regions. I'll come to that. And each data center, each region is a geography where Amazon would have their own data center, right? So a geography where Amazon is having data center is called a region, and each data center is known as a availability zone. Now why do you need this concept, zone and the region concept? This concept is useful for the high availability and disaster recovery. For example, you are in India and all your customer base is also in India. So you would like to host your services in Singapore region because that's near to you, so it would have the less latency. If you are in US East region, you would like to have the hosting of application here, so they would have a less latency. Apart from that, the zones would help you to achieve the high availability. Why? I'll come to that in a while. So this is Amazon's global infrastructure. Amazon having 11 regions, and this is 10, no, it's 11 regions and almost 53 edge locations now. Now where are these 11 regions? In US East, it is having one. That is in North Virginia, it is having one. So this is the geography where Amazon is having. In US one, that is in North California and Oregon, it is having there. It is having in Sydney, having in Tokyo, Singapore, Ireland, Sao Paulo, in Frankfurt. These are the public, these 10 or 9 are the public data center which Amazon is having. Now it is having one data center in, not one, yeah, one data center in China also, but that is available only for the Republic of China people, where you need to request that. So it's not a public one, it's only for the Chinese people or the Republic of China residents over there. Also, if you are working for some US government project, they have a US government cloud, where again you need to request them. So it's not available publicly, but only for the government and federal agencies it is available. So totally Amazon having 11 geographies where it is having data center. Now each data center is known as a zone. Now why would zone help you? Zone help you achieve high availability. For example, you launch one instance here, you launch one instance here, you launch one instance here, A, B, C, D, you launch one everywhere. Due to any reason, if one of the zone goes down, you don't need to worry, the other 4 things are working. Why? Because zone is a data center which is like a physically separate data center for Amazon. Now physical separate means it might have a different service provider, like different electricity provider, different infrastructure, different network provider, everything would be different from that. So even if something goes wrong due to the service provider, if one of that zone goes down, it's unlikely that other zone would also go down. So your service would be seamless, keep on working over there. In the last 8-9 years, it has happened only once that the complete region went down. That was some internal mistake from Amazon end, and they had taken a proper precaution for that. But if you want to ensure that it doesn't happen again, you can always plan another region's application in another region, which would ensure the more high availability and disaster recovery scenario for you. And when we go to day 7, I would show you this slide again and explain you how you can do the better designing with this architecture. So I would not go in depth because unless I explain the services of Amazon, it would not make a lot of sense. But to keep your concept clear, region is a geography where Amazon is having data center. Zone is a that data center is called as a zone. The data center is nothing but a physically separated data center over there which might have the different service provider. It can be electricity, it can be network, infrastructure, it would be different over there. So regions and zone helps you to achieve high availability. And now I think Pravesh or somebody asked me, because what if Amazon runs out of the space? Amazon is a visionary. So they keep procuring the space, and that's why they keep making this availability zone more and more in that region. So today you see 5 zones, they might be having more and more zones in the same region. So that would not worry. In case if they don't get any space in this region, they would have some more space in another region. They would have some more space in another region. If that's not work out, they would launch new region. It may be India, Europe, Dubai, somewhere over there it would launching there. So they would not be worrying about that. So he says, does it mean the data centers are replicated? Now replication is a big word to use. Frankly, now why do you replicate? Do you replicate for the data or you replicate it? So data center would have a different infrastructure. Right? Each data center would have their own infrastructure. Now for the backup of your certain data, Amazon would keep replicating internally, And this is when I go to that particular service like EBS, S3, all storage service, I would explain that in detail how it's replicated. But for you, currently data centers are independent data centers. You need to understand that way. Yes, in a single region, all data center would be connected internally, so which would have a faster communication among them because they are in the single region. But data center are the independent of each other. They would have a separate infrastructure. The replication would be a very big word to use and I would not answer here because on a service to service it would keep changing. So Ricardo says the transferring data would take long time. I would not agree. This depends whether it's an inter-region or intra-region or how it is doing. If it's only inter-region, it may not take time. It's very fast, frankly, because they are connected with a very high network. More than GBPS networks, they are huge GBPS networks they are connected with. So I don't think it would take any time for them. It's very fast. Right? But it's very important for you all to know regions and zones concept. Region is a geography where Amazon is having data center, and zone is that data center is known as a zone. So he says, somebody, Lloyd says, if my data center goes down, if your application is hosted on availability zone B only, and if the zone B goes down, your application would be lost. Means your application would not work. That's why I said launch your application in multiple zones, so it would not worry. Even if one zone goes down, it's very unlikely the second would go down. Right? And there are some other mechanism also to recover the data or launch in another way. When we progress, I would explain more and more about that. Now coming to the Amazon cloud characteristics, it's a highly available, highly reliable, no doubt about that. It's a massively scalable. Now you understand the word massive, 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 massive. Correct? It's having the great performance, and frankly, believe me, if I work from here and I try to download one file, if it takes 10 minutes on my network, I am on around 4 Mbps network, it hardly takes a minute on Amazon. Believe me, you would see that. It hardly takes a minute in Amazon. Huge, fast infrastructure. It's a very flexible, and I'll show you that also in a while. Now, this is an important slide. This is the list of all the services offered by Amazon. Now, which are the services? And I believe it's almost all. Sorry, somebody asked me about the Redshift, and you were referring to this. I completely missed that word. You were referring to this Redshift or somebody else? So Redshift with the Amazon, I know. Sorry, I tried to relate to the Apache, so I was a little confused. Yeah, the Redshift is there here. In the Amazon. I'll come to that. Sorry, I completely missed that part. So I confused with the Amazon Reddit and all that. So I was little thinking on that line. Yeah, coming to, this is the list of Amazon services, and Amazon keeps on adding. I think there is one more service which is missing here, which Amazon added just a week back, 2 weeks back. So that also I'll mention. Now, what all these services is. I'll start from the left. So I'll try just focus a minute. I'm listing very zest in a quick. I'm just giving you overview. Amazon EC2, which we'll see tomorrow, is a virtual server in the cloud. So you get a virtual machine. What I showed an instance, that is what you get in a cloud. That's Amazon EC2. VPC is a service which would help you to create a virtual secure network. That's a VPC for you. It's a virtual private cloud. It can be helped to create your own private subnets, and can be simulated like not exactly private cloud, but private subnets or a hybrid cloud kind of a case. You can use the VPC. Elastic load balancing is a load distribution service offered by the Amazon, which is known as ELB. Auto scaling is an automation service from Amazon, which would automatically spin off and spin on the new Amazon instance for you. So we talk about the Cricinfo case. Auto scaling would be helpful to scale up and scale down automatically. Elastic MapReduce is a managed Hadoop offering from Amazon. So if you want to use the MapReduce directly, you can go to this. Direct Connect is a service where there is a service provider, there is a ISPs who would provide a direct internet connection between Amazon's data center and your data center. That is known as a Direct Connect. Amazon Route 53 is a domain naming service. It provides a domain registration as well as domain name mapping. It's like a telephone directory of your internet domains. So if I said www.edureka.co, it would map to certain domain IP address or IP address. That's where the Route 53 would help to map that. Coming on the right hand side, storage and content delivery. Amazon S3 helps you to provide a scalable storage. It's a static content storage which is there. Amazon EBS, we talk about this today, the volumes. It's a block level persistent storage to help you to achieve the file systems. CloudFront is a content distribution network. If you know the Akamai, this is the similar offering. If you know the Glacier, Glacier is like a archival system for a cost-effective storage mechanism. Storage Gateway is a service which helps to integrate your on-premise IT with the cloud storage. Amazon Import Export is a service which will help you to import and export huge data from Amazon to your own data center to Amazon S3. DynamoDB is a NoSQL offering from Amazon. So I'm sure most of you have heard the word called MongoDB, Cassandra, Couchbase, all that. DynamoDB is Amazon's own NoSQL offering. Elasticache is a in-memory caching. It's a Memcache and Redis kind of offering. RDS is Amazon's own relational database offering. It's a managed database from Amazon which supports the popular database like MySQL, Oracle, MS SQL, PostgreSQL, and now Aurora. Aurora is the 5 times faster database than MySQL created by Amazon, which is just in a preview mode because they launched a month back. Redshift is a managed petabyte of data warehousing service. So when you want to do the, sorry, not this one. When you want to do the petabyte of scaling, that's a data warehousing, you can use the Redshift. Coming bottom, the cloud search is like a search service for your application. If you know the Solar, it would be like this. Elastic Transcoder is a service which helps to convert from one format to another. That is like a content media format. So MP3 to MP4 or something like a transcoding you want to do, you can use the Elastic Transcoder. Amazon Simple Email service is useful when you want to send the bulk mails. You can use the Amazon Simple Email service. Amazon Simple Notification service is the service which you want to use for sending a notifications. You can use that to email, mobiles, all that you can do. Amazon Simple Queue service is like your, if you know the RabbitMQ, ActiveMQ, it's a service for that which will help to create a managed queue service. Simple Workflow service is for the managed workflow. It's like a business process management rules. On the mobile service and enterprise in the middle here, Amazon Cognito is a user identity and data synchronization service for the mobile applications. Amazon also provides the Amazon Mobile Analytics to collect, visualize, and understand the applications. Zocomo or Zocolo, which is now known as a Amazon WorkDocs, this is renamed to WorkDocs now, is like your Dropbox and Google Docs, you can say mix of that. I would qualify a little bit kind of in a SaaS model, but Amazon does not publicly say that. Amazon Workspaces is a desktop on a service demand, virtual desktop VDS service. You can get a virtual desktop from the Amazon. Also, Amazon introduced two more services, which is one more service called the Amazon Work Mail, which they introduced a week back. That is, a work mail is like your Exchange mail. In competition with the Gmail and Exchange service, they offered this. So Workmail is also, they just introduced that. It's in a preview mode. CloudFormation is like a template-based resource creation. This is more kind of, you want to go for DevOps and the CI/CD model. CloudFormation would be helpful for you. CloudWatch for all monitoring of your resources. Whatever Amazon services you want to monitor, you can do that. Data Pipeline is for the orchestration of the service, where you want to run the workflows and or you want to orchestrate certain services, you can do that. Elastic Beanstalk is Amazon's own PaaS offering, which is direct in competition with the Google App Engine. Amazon IAM or Identity Access Management is a secure access control where you want to create a multiple users to work with the Amazon. With a single account, you can do that. Amazon OpsWorks is Amazon's own DevOps implementation. Amazon Cloud HSM is nothing but a hardware-based key storage model. Amazon Kinesis is for the real-time processing of the streaming data. Amazon CloudTrail is a API call management service where you want to monitor all the Amazon APIs. Amazon AppStream is for the streaming of the games. Amazon Directory service is like the a directory service like Active Directory or LDAP kind of Amazon's own offering. Amazon Code Deploy is a CI/CD model where you want to automatically, for the CD model, where you automatically want to deploy the codes to the Amazon infrastructure, you can use this. AWS config, again, AWS config is in a beta mode. AWS config is useful when you want to maintain the inventory of resources, how many resources you have. AWS Key Management is a service which would be able to help you to create and control encryption keys. So you can see we have almost 40 plus Amazon services, almost 40, 35, 38, something like that. Now it's not possible to cover each and every service over the period of time. So what we identified this course was that considering we want to do for the Amazon Solution Architect Certificate, associate level, and we want to be thorough in certain, so you will be able to use the Amazon, go into the market. So based on this, we modularized this concept and we created these services, which we would be covering over the period. So these are the services which I have tick mark and all that we would be covering over the period of the time in these 7 modules. I would not be able to cover each and every, again, Redshift I would not cover. This is just a box issue. So we would not be covering the Redshift here. DynamoDB and RDS we will definitely cover. Same is the import export we would cover here. But some of the things we would not be able to go because considering the time constraint and all that, we would not have the enough time to cover that. But I assure whatever I am going to cover up, you would thoroughly enjoy because these are the basic service you need to start with. So we can't jump to the next level unless you you can't put the second step before putting the first step. So this is what I say is putting the first step and going then further in your right direction. So this is what we are going to cover over the period of time in the Amazon. So now I'm here. Any questions for this part? So I'm sorry, people had little expectation on the Redshift and Kinesis, but unfortunately I would not be able to cover this. Moving on, we just have the little time revision. Now, what DB Amazon used to store and process, that Amazon never says. I think it's more of file level, block level, all different kind of a storage. But Amazon never provide this kind of information, mail it publicly. Now, Amazon, as I said, is an agile and flexible model. And you can access Amazon through 4 ways: Amazon Management Console, Amazon APIs, Amazon CLIs, and Amazon SDKs. You can access through any of the options. See, Management Console is a GUI where you can go and then configure everything. APIs are the way where you want to write the REST calls and everything, you can do that. If you are a Macintosh Linux users, you don't like the GUI, you can use the command line interface. If you want to write an application which would use the Amazon tools, like you want to launch an EC2 instance from the code, Java code or .NET code, Amazon provides the SDK for that also. So you can access Amazon through 4 ways. Now I'll take 5-7 minutes more, so don't run away. I would request everyone. I'll take 5-7 minutes more and then we can end this. We are almost at the end. So just stay with me for 5-7 minutes more. Security. Security is a very important aspect and how Amazon manages the security. Just a second. Now in the security part, how Amazon would be architect. So Amazon would have a physical interfaces. This is your infrastructure. You can say Amazon data center, region, zones, all that part. Now each would have Amazon's own firewall. That Amazon would have set up own firewall to ensure that right kind of a traffic coming, there is no DDoS attack and everything. Now there would be, Amazon uses a tool called the hypervisor. Everybody who wants to virtualize the environment needs to use the tool called hypervisor. Now if you don't know the hypervisor, VMware is one of the public classic example of hypervisor. Amazon uses Zen open source hypervisor. So that is a customized for Amazon, they customize for them and they are using that. Now this hypervisor would have provide some interfaces. Now what would be there? So whenever you launch, you can say this is a tenant 1, this is tenant 2, this is tenant 3. Each one would have their own instances. Now you also need your custom security group. So whenever you launch an instance, Amazon would assign a virtual MAC address with each instance. And with each instance, you can also configure a security group. A security group is nothing but known as a virtual firewall. Firewall means which instance should come in, which IP should come in, which IP should not come in, like that. So in that case, what would happen? If I launch this instance, I have given the IP address 1.3.4.5 here. This is my IP address. Now in this IP address, if somebody from outside requests 1.3.4.5, my domain name service and everybody would understand that they are making a call to Amazon. So the request would come to this virtual interfaces or the Amazon physical interface. It would first pass through the Amazon firewall. Using virtual interface, it would know that this request is for the customer 1. But before this request reaches to the customer 1, it would first check that whether that customer has open port for this or not. So if this customer has open port 80 or something, then only it will allow to go traffic there. If somebody is trying to connect that, but if this is not open the port, it would not allow to access your resources. And this is a one very good security feature. If I explain in little detail way, in a MVC architecture, I'm sure most of you know the multi web app 3-tier architecture. This is my MVC architecture. This is my web tier, this is my app tier, this is my database tier. Now in this case, for the web tier, I have open port 80 for everyone. So whoever requests port 80 and 443, anybody who requests on port 80 and 443, they can access my web tier. So IP address of this is 1.2.3.4, for example. Now here my application server's IP is 3.4.5.6. But here I have done this trick is I have opened port 80 and 443 only for the IP address 1234 for not anyone else. So if web tier is trying to connect me, I am okay. But if somebody is trying to connect me directly, I would not allow him. Same way, I have my database tier. So database tier would have a IP 6789. And I have opened, this is on a 3306 or 33, that's a, or whatever the port, it's a 3306, I think MySQL 3306. Now, when I open port 3306, that's a database port only for the IP address 3.4.5.6. Even my web tier cannot connect to my database directly. No. So nobody else from the external can connect to my database. This way, when you think in a architecture, if request comes for the web tier, it's allowed. But if somebody knows my IP address of application tier and they try to access from the internet, they would not be allowed. If somebody knows the IP address of the database and they try to connect from the internet, they would not be allowed. Database can be accessed from this here only. Same way, application server can be accessed from this here only. This way, I would have a much secure access to my environment. So this security groups provides me a virtual firewall, and here you can also configure that I open only for a particular IP address or set of IP address or everyone. You can configure that also. And we will see more in security group, that's it tomorrow. But somebody asked me about this, what about the FISMA, what about the SOC and all that compliance? Amazon is having this many compliance. So somebody asked me for the security compliance, and thankfully I have a slide for that. So these are all the compliance Amazon is having. Also, Amazon provides a hardware security model for the dedicated hardware-based key management. Amazon provides the secure key management. Amazon provides the identity access. So Amazon has a multiple security features to do this. And if you want to read more about security, you go to the URL given at the bottom of the page, aws.amazon.com/security, which will help you. Now, why Amazon? So we are almost at the end. Global infra, 9 data centers, 26 data centers, 9 regions. You do whatever you want to do. Massive infrastructure. So massive compute, storage power, virtually unlimited everything. And it also has the managed database, ease of deployment, big data offering, flexible models, everything over there. It keeps adding more and more features over there. So this is why the Amazon is leading. And when I talk about the case where I said that it's a massive, you might not believe that, but this is from the Gartners. What they say is AWS has 5 times more compute capacity in use, that is being used, that is being currently used, than the aggregate total of the other 14 providers. So when you compare other 14 providers, if you combine total compute that which is being used, you multiply by that by 5, that's where the Amazon would come here. That's why they have put Amazon in the, every year it's in the leader quadrants and leading by margins. And this was something in, I believe, in 2013. In 2014, you would see Microsoft here and Google in the visionaries. But nobody is able to bridge the gap. Amazon is amazing. So this is the quadrant for the 2014. I just said Amazon is leading. Google they have put here. CSC come back from the leaders to here. So they are leading like anything. Nobody can beat them. It's like that. So with this, I almost bring the end to the session. We have used some of the sessions reference and all that, you can refer here. So agenda for the next, that's tomorrow. We would be now going in depth about each and every Amazon EC2 services, Amazon service like EC2 and EBS. We would do the demo, and no play and only work makes Jack a dull boy, right? I follow the same. So today was all theory, so you might get little bored. I hope not, but trust me, from tomorrow everything would be hands-on. So if I teach something in between, I would keep on doing hands-on so you understand what I'm doing. So that would make more sense for you. And also I'll give you some of the hands-on material which you can perform at your house, and you can get well versed with the Amazon concepts. So this is all about the Amazon, and whatever. Any questions from your end? Very good from Kirti. That does Amazon charge the credit card if we are practicing? If you follow my advice or the way I ask you, it would not give you. It would be free of the cost. And you need to wait till tomorrow session. I will guide you how to use it free of the cost so you would not be charged. If you don't follow my advice and try to do something on your own, it may cost you. So I would, that's why I said just create your Amazon account. I will guide you how to use it free. And if you have loved this session, you like this session, there is a survey when you exit of this. I would request everyone to provide this. Yeah, even if you don't love, provide the survey. This helps us, this positive or negative, that keeps us either motivation or help us, gives us a chance to improve. So do provide your feedback. If you enjoyed, excellent, good, or any suggestions from your end, I would love to hear from you. And that's why it would encourage me more and more. I hope you all enjoyed the sessions. All this PDF would be available in the learning management system as of now, I believe. If you don't get the PDF, you can request our support team. The video would be available within 24 hours, so you would be able to use that also. Right? Any other questions? So these are survey, and I request everyone to fill up this. I request please do fill up. And did you really enjoy? Did you find it great, okay, better, average, anything you want to rate? Thanks Vikas. Thanks Piyush. Thanks Suresh. Thanks Nalapura. So frankly, your feedback always keeps us motivated. So do give. It's a collaborative world. Unless you give me feedback, I would not be improved. So do give, and I would request, if possible, do attend tomorrow's sessions. Yeah, you can always say you can go through the recorded session. I can also say you can go through the recorded match. you can decide, but I hope you would enjoy tomorrow's session, so do attend tomorrow's session if possible. Okay then, thanks again everyone for joining today. I hope you all had a great time, and we'll meet tomorrow again. Thanks all, till then, bye-bye. I like the word from Santosh, massive info. Thanks Santosh, a nice word, I can reuse that.